We're officially live. We're live. Welcome, people. We are going over the 2025 tier list today. All of our picks, including a bunch of picks that changed. We're going to discuss why they changed, why they may have went up, why they may have went down. We also got some sales we're kicking off today.
Well, we got a banger. 20% off of every single outlet item we have. If you guys aren't familiar with outlet items, these are chairs that are either refurbished chairs or brand new chairs when we send them out to customers. And if they get returned in that 30-day window, we bring them into the outlet, inspect them, make sure everything is good to go. And they look just like they did the first time they left, brand new packaging and everything else. And guess what? You guys get them for crazy discount. I think it's like 25% off the normal price right there. Plus now we're giving you a 20% coupon on top of that. Stuff's like 50% off our normal sale prices. So
yeah, it's pretty wild because, like Greg said, it's always 25% off because it's outlet. So you're getting another 20% off that. So you're able to find some ridiculous chairs like our refurbished Leap chairs in there for, like Greg said, almost 50% off. Amiya's, Vera's, petite chairs. We got a bunch of petite chairs. So if you're on the smaller side and you don't want to spend $1,000 for a custom petite chair, we got a bunch of those available as well in a bunch of different colors and sizes and styles. So a lot of options down there. Do we want to kick off the list right away here, or what are we thinking?
yeah, and everybody who orders today too, and I guess you and I are just failed to represent, but I think that Robert is. So maybe if we can throw a cam on him, he's got some sweet gear on. Anybody who buys today that is spending basically over $300 it's $300 to $599. I think that's what it is, right? You are gonna get a shirt, a gaming chair sucks T-shirt, because I mean we're all on the same page, right? Gaming chairs definitely do suck. A little BTAD TV on there. If you guys spend to that next tier, which I think it's either, I gotta double check this. I gotta look at my notes. Robert, you know what that is? Was it $499, $300 to $499, and then $500 to $800, and then $800 and up were the tiers?
Now you caught me with it not right in front of me. I think you got the graphic, right, John? Can you maybe put that up on screen of our, the price breakdowns for where you get the giveaways? Okay.
Welcome to the least organized tier list or live stream that we've ever done, guys. So jump on board, take the deals. That's what it's all about. We're going to just get into it right now. We're going to skip all the mumble jumble. We're going to kick it off with the steel case Leap. What happened with this one? Did it stay the same, Ryan? Your opinion changed somewhat recently on a little bit of a nudge on it, didn't it?
Well, I think I've just always been pretty much as high as you can get on the Leap. I had it held back a little bit for a few years there, just because it doesn't have a headrest. I don't absolutely love the recline, just because there's a few chairs out there that, in my opinion, have a better recline, like the Aeron or the Zodi or things like that. But I had to kind of recalibrate, rethink, just because there's no other chair that I sit in. If it's my choice, I have a Leap at home. I have a Leap in my office here. When I'm in the conference room, I sit in a Leap. When I'm doing live streams, I sit in a Leap. I'm just always sitting in a Leap. And so for it to not be an S-tier chair when I choose it over every other chair was just pretty ridiculous. The seat's just way too comfortable for me. The back is way too comfortable. The arms are way too good. So those just make up for it not having, Aeron-esque recline, in my opinion. So I'm S. If there could be S+, I'd be there. But yeah, as high as you can get on the Leap.
Yeah, I think the only hater in the room is Rob, and he's coming in with an A, so that's not even hating that hard. No. I've got an A+. It looks like 2024, A+, 2025, A+. And just to kind of come back, like what's happening here, we get a lot of questions in the comment section about why something may have changed over year to year or video to video. Guys, we're dropping videos once a year. There's a lot of new products that hit. Obviously, with new products hitting and things just shifting, sometimes our body's changing. We're going to rank this thing accordingly based on where we think it is in the whole sort of category of chairs, not just where that chair is in its own world. It's against all of the chairs. That's why you're going to see some stuff change. I'm sure you guys have seen the same thing. You've got chairs that maybe you've had for 5 years. You don't love it as much as you did when you first got it, or vice versa. Guys, we've had some of these chairs in the office now for 15 years. Yeah. So, some of this stuff we've had for a long time. All right.
On where I'm using something. So I've always been super high on the Aeron, and I would rate it really high, especially in an office setting where I'm always going to have my shoes on. I'm maybe dressed a little bit nicer. I want to be extra, ergonomic and then sitting in the right position. Whereas, like, if I'm sitting at home, I might kick my shoes off. I might want to be able to do something like this. You can't really do this in the Aeron. So the Aeron would almost get, like, a little bit of a knock if it was in my home setting. Whereas, like, at home, I love to have the cushion fabric seat and just feels a little more cozy, I guess. So it's hard to fit that all into the tier list. So that's why maybe sometimes, like, lately I have been sitting in the Leap a lot here in the office, and it's like, man, this feels amazing. Should I really be at an A+? I mean, it's a tough call. I probably could push it there, and it would still keep our ranking about the same. But
man, it would sure help the sales, Robert, if you could just give it an S tier.
Okay, we'll give it an S.
We'll just S tier that all of the. I don't know what we're doing. We're
we
messing
gotta
this
save
up.
a little bit of room, for
All right.
the Lamia.
All right, so we got the. What are the comments saying? What is everybody else? Are you guys agreeing with us? Are you just
Christian loves the Leap, so he's on the same page.
Let's go. That's what it's all about, Christian. All right, Ergo Human Gen 2. This is another chair that we've had in the last 2 tier lists, I believe, right? This is the second time we've scored this one. This is the newest version of the Ergo Human chair. Now, a lot of stuff changed with this chair from the previous iteration. So the first chair, Ergo Human Gen 1, if you don't know the story behind BTOD, that's basically how the company started, got the opportunity to sell this one. It was in Office Depot stores. Everybody came online looking for it. In its day, Gen 1 was really a revolutionary chair because of the price point and what you got from adjustments. Honestly, there wasn't anything else out there like it actually kind of competing with an Aeron chair, the Classic that is. And so it lived its life. It got long in the tooth. Here comes Gen 2 version, and it's across the board. We got mesh leather and then the mesh leather combo with and without the headrest. You guys love headrests. I love headrests. We're going to go ahead and say, Ryan, again, we got a hater here at B tier. What's up with that?
What do you mean again? I just gave the Leap an S tier. This isn't again.
Well, I mean, on this chair, what's up with that?
It's just a little bit too big for me, and I don't know. I'm a mesh seat hater. That's just kind of the way that it is. It's really, really hard for me to get a mesh seat chair above a B tier, just because most of them I can't use for more than a couple hours at a time without it being a little bit uncomfortable. I do think that they did a phenomenal job upgrading from the previous version. Like, the arm pads are just as comfortable as any arm pad I've ever seen. That's right there with the Aeron. The headrest is really, really good. It holds its position, a lot of different adjustments. So there's a lot of things going for it, and then it's got that lumbar support. So if you like really good lumbar support, this chair is absolutely phenomenal. I'm just not a mesh seat guy. That's what it is. And the armrests are a little bit wide for me. They don't have your classic width adjustment. They have the pivot, which helps. But you can see even like Robert, he's quite a bit taller than me. And you can see that you can see his elbows are extended outward a little bit. So on me, it's even more exaggerated. And that's why I'm at around a B tier on this one.
Yeah, just a huge improvement. Like you guys have said already, the seat is so much better on this Gen 2. That's really it's always the problem with mesh chairs, is that the seat is the biggest downside, because it's so hard to resolve that front edge so that it's not either hard or have all the bunching. This, you might see a tiny bit of that bunching up, but you don't feel it. It doesn't affect the comfort or anything like that. So it's just much more comfortable. The frame is also, you don't feel the edges of the frame unless you're really getting way off center, which there's no reason for you to do that. And again, like the guy said, the arm pads are just much improved. The arm pads on the old Ergo Human were good too, but these are even better here. Personally, I mean, we were kind of talking about the mesh version. The leather version would really be my favorite. I think you guys kind of like the leather seat with the mesh back, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of go back and forth. I probably rank them about the same, to be honest. I think the mesh is definitely nice if you tend to be hot and you want that more cooler experience if you're gaming or you're spending 10 hours in it or in a hotter climate. I don't know, I really like the look of the leather. Maybe that's what, that shouldn't really be a part of it, but that sways me a little bit to like want to get the leather one, even though, yeah, it shouldn't really matter. But either way, the backrest, I love the pivoting lumbar. I mean, you can really see how much it flexes. Now, I know you're not doing this when you're sitting in the chair, but
you might be. You might be flexing just
know.
like that, and that could be a game changer for you guys. All right, I'm going to circle back because I see that Taylor dropped this in here and saved my life on this one. T, you're the best. Free gift with the purchase, $300 to $499, guys. You get the T-shirt, $500 to $799, you get the hoodie, and over $800, you get the hoodie and a tumbler. Again, this is that Gaming Chairs Sucks merch. So make sure you guys are dropping your size in your orders when you grab the outlet stuff. Again, guys, outlet is going to be 20% off here. So make sure you guys are doing outlet 20 is that coupon code, and then just pop in the outlet, guys. There's Leaps, there's Amiyas, there's Ameeps, there's Lamias, there's Ergo Human, petite chairs. There's even cable management boxes. I think we've got like 5. There's not a lot of cable management boxes. Those we sell a ton of those. A lot of them don't come back. But again, check that out. All right, so Robert, you like to you got a good history with that Ergo Human chair. I mean, you were in the LE9 ERG a long time ago, Gen 1, so you know what's up.
Yeah, that really was the first chair I ever sat in when I started here. Maybe that was Ryan and Greg's way of being like, you need to learn our company history and see how we started things off with the Ergo Human. And I mean, I loved it right away. And I had, back at that time, I had some lower back pain. So that actually was kind of the perfect chair because I really like to have the super strong lumbar support just kind of jutting into my back. Jutting makes it sound uncomfortable, but I actually do really like it. So yeah, I don't know, not much else to say, but I don't know. We might even have some outlets of these. I'm not sure. Yes, no? If not, we got.
Yeah, we do. We have outlets of the Ergo Human.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yep.
What is that list?
Musicaholic. It is the same quality. Yep, same quality. If something got damaged in the return process or it was defective and that's the reason it was returned, we wouldn't resell it in the outlet. So everything sold in the outlet is going to be the same condition as it's basically like new condition. Yep.
A lot of Lamias in that outlet. That's
Do we have the Sihu 5X or which one do we have?
There's the Lamias. There's probably as many Lamias as Leaps and maybe not as many Amiyas. It's just there's only one really skew cut. It's only one color.
Okay,
so
yeah,
that's condensed into one. But the chairs we sell the most of, guys, are going to be the ones that are going to be the most frequently found in there. So like if you're looking for like a black chair, that's going to be the most frequently returned chair because it's the one we sell the most. So
and that's an amazing discount to get 20% off of that, as it is a little bit more expensive than the Leap, so you can get that closer to that regular Leap price. Well, we ready to move on? We got a new chair coming up next.
Yeah, we might have to work on the audio here a little bit. Audio is really quiet in this room. Let us know if you guys hear an improvement in the audio. We're trying to work on it a little bit on our end. So yeah, guys, make sure you get into that outlet. One thing to consider is that they're 20% off, but they're 20% off the already 25% off. So everything in our outlet is already reduced 25%. So, you know, Leaps are already going to be down under $500. You're going to apply another 20% on that. So this is the lowest we've ever sold the outlets for ever. So make sure to get in there. Those are going to sell quick, especially the Lamias, the Leaps, and Amiyas. Those are going to go. The difference in the upholstery options, so what do we have them labeled as in there?
So you're gonna have a mix of some of the original open house material that we had on the Leaps. Now we've got a mix of the new upholstery and the open house stuff. So you're gonna be able to tell if you look on the current version of the chair, not in the outlet, you'll see what's available. And so there's going to be a mix of all those different colors in there now. You see what's in there? Are you on the outlet right now?
No, they're just wanting to know what the difference in the fabrics are.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a perfect question for you.
The fabrics, so the colors that are black onyx, asteroid, lapis, and geranium, those are our original colors. They're going to be more monotone, but they're going to be more durable. They're kind of spec'd for commercial areas, so very, very durable, but not quite as soft, not quite as comfortable as the other fabrics that we moved to. So the logwood, birch bark, indigo, and paprika are going to be our new fabrics. A little bit softer, still very, very durable, but not extremely durable like the others. So just kind of depends on what you're looking for. And then the colors aren't, so you're not going to get a straight black. There's a little bit of almost like a speckled charcoal in there.
All right, let's kick it off again in this list. So the Habata E3, this is a newcomer to the list. Oh, you did? Well, guess what? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. They're going to do a little fabric highlight.
There you go. Yeah, perfect.
And then you're going to see the difference.
fabric. Yeah, it's a little bit softer, has a little bit more stretch, right? And it is a little more of a, it's not that jet black, whereas you can see the older one here. The older one is the open house, right, that we still have, but it's more of that just straight jet black. It doesn't have that kind of lighter weave in there. So, yeah, could be, either one could be what you're looking for. They're both definitely nice.
Elmog, you don't happen to be associated with Sihu, do you? Just saying.
The 5X Pro. I think
Just
you need to
saying.
check this. I don't see any interview about this chair. You didn't interview anybody on that one.
And it sell like bread.
And it's selling like bread?
Um,
What does that mean? Bread sells well. I suppose that's a staple. But is it as expensive as eggs right now? That's the question. Because that,
I don't think bread got hit.
audio's
as hard.
still quiet. We're getting that feedback. I don't know. Are you trying to listen? Maybe you should listen to the actual stream on your phone. Let's do it. All right, guys. So anyways, we're going to jump in here to that. We're jumping into that Habata E3. This one sells like bread as well. This is a bread seller. And I'm telling you, this is new to hit that list. This is a first-time entrant into the list, and we got it at a solid C tier, which if you guys aren't familiar with how we rank these things, that's just solid in the middle of average. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just there. It's basically just okay. But that means that some people might like it, but others might not, but it still could be a quality chair for people.
Well, it also depends very much on which version that you're getting in the E3 series, because we have all three chairs in the E3 series. That's going to be the Pro, the Ultra, and then what was the name of the third one? They have three. And whatever the lowest ranked one is, the least expensive, the one that's about $350, that's the one Robert's in right now. It's the best one. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but the ones that are more expensive, they do so much that they do too much, and they are honestly pretty brutal to sit in. The armrests are bad, the backrests are bad, the recline is bad, the headrests are not good. So I would avoid the two expensive ones in the E3 series. Had we ranked those, I believe that they'd be somewhere around D or F tier because they're borderline unusable. This one that Robert's sitting in right here, we ranked C tier, but this is a $350 chair. And so for $350, you're not going to find a lot of C tier and above chairs for that price point, just because it's really, really hard to make something as well-rounded as it needs to be to get into that B tier for that $350 price point. This is one of those few chairs that is $350 and under that does achieve that C tier rating, and it's, for me, the best mesh seat chair that I've sat in for that $300 and under price point. So again, I think Habata did a great job with the entry-level E3, but any of the chairs that are above it, I would avoid those and go with a different brand. So for instance, if you're looking to spend $650 on a chair, don't get the E3 that's $650. If you're looking to spend $800, don't get the other E3 that's $800. Just get a different brand. But if you're looking for $350 and less, this chair is really, really good for those of you that want something with a mesh seat.
Maybe higher if it wasn't for the tilt recline tension, which is basically non-existent. So you almost have to use this chair in this upright position, because as soon as you unlock it, it just wants to go right back. So you really can't, like, I love to have a chair that I'm just somewhere in the middle here. You really can't do that. It just goes straight back without any effort. So I think that's probably the biggest thing hurting it. Otherwise, we might even have this a little higher.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't use it in any position other than upright or all the way back, unless you use the tilt lock, because you just get to this middle point, like you can't hold that middle position. You either go forward or you go all the way back. There's no in between. So
and it does, you do get that gap too. That's another problem with that far back recline. I mean, there's nowhere for your arms.
Yep.
Which, I mean, you see that in a ton of chairs. So
I gotta say something right now, Ryan. You might be onto something here with this AMEEP thing. I'm looking at the returns on the AMEEPs. Like, there is like no AMEEPs in here. We have 4 AMEEPs in here. We have been selling a ton of AMEEPs. Like, that thing has really ascended, and it must be a top 3. It's got to be top 3, top 4 chair. I mean, it really goes quick. There's only 4 in there with the logwood fabric 4-way arms standard casters. So that's crazy, because right now you're going to get that thing all the way down with that 20%. You're going under $300. So just to kind of play off of what you just said, You don't find a lot of stuff for under $300. That chair right now with the coupon code is $295. It still comes with a 12-year warranty. It's basically fully, I mean, it's fully refurbished, and it's going to be a really nice chair. So.
From off of 500, so that brings it down to that 350. Hopefully everyone's seeing the coupon.
Yeah, that coupon is pretty standard edition on the chair. That's how it gets down to that 350 mark.
Yep.
So that was there when Ryan reviewed it as well.
Yeah, so when you go into that Amazon listing, right under the $499, there's a little checkbox. You just check that box, and it says apply $150 coupon, and you get it for $350.
I repair game consoles. I look for a chair, and I look for it. I implement it. We got some good comments coming in here today, guys. Keep them coming. I want to see another chair that's selling like bread. I bet it's the Colamy Atlas chair, guys. This one's been in here and selling like bread for years. They're going to have to give this one the bread seller title, I think, because they've been selling so many. This is an underpriced the value on this one's solid.
Yeah, this is one of those where if we had a value list, it's going to be right there near S or A tier. Obviously, it's not S or A tier in the grand scheme of things. We've got it, at C plus, B minus range, somewhere in there. But again, this is a sub $300 chair. Incredible value here because it's going to feel closer to a $500 chair when it comes to build quality. And it's absolutely loaded with adjustments, especially for the price. You're getting seat height, seat depth, multi-way arms, lumbar adjustment, a multi-way headrest. It really does have every adjustment that you'd look for in an ergonomic chair. Not perfect. Obviously, it's under $300. The seat's a little on the small side. The armrest can be a little bit firm. Not everyone loves that the lumbar support doesn't have any padding. It's just plastic. But for $300, I haven't found anything better or anything really close, truthfully. So if you're in that $300 or under price range and you're just looking for a standard, really good ergonomic chair with a padded seat, this is probably where you should start.
So I kind of have the benefit of jumping from chair to chair here, and it like the rankings are playing out correctly, I feel like. So last chair was a C. As I step into this, I'm like, ooh, I'm a little bit more comfortable, So it's like it feels right that this is a B minus instead of a C. I mean, I know it's close, but because I do prefer this padded seat, even though I do like mesh seats, but Habata E3, it wasn't quite the best one. So it is a step up in comfort to jump into the padded seat on the Atlas.
Karam said, I think that's how you say your name, right? Karam Balchi. I had the Colamy Atlas, but returned it. Seating bottoming out for me instantly when I sat on it. That seems like maybe heavier weight. I don't know, because at 180 pounds, I sit in that chair and I don't feel like I bottom out on that one.
No, I mean I feel that in like a Sihu M18. I might feel that maybe in the Tacova, but even not quite there. I don't feel that here. If I really want to get, try to bounce in it, then maybe I'm hitting a little hard in the back part, kind of where your sit bones are. But yeah, I would not say this is a chair I'm bottoming out in.
I think maybe we're confusing bottoming out with the seat just being firm.
Yeah,
I think that a lot of people get ergonomic chairs and they see a seat that's thick like that, and they expect that they're going to sit down and they're going to sink down in the chair, and it's almost going to be like a
pillow
top lounge. Yeah, like a pillow top experience, and that's just not how a good ergonomic chair is going to be. The seat will soften up a little bit. You'll wear it in a little bit, but yeah, if you're expecting to sit down and it to be a nice cush sink in type feeling, you're not going to have that. But you're not going to have that on most ergonomic chairs. I will say it is it's going to be more on that firm side, like an ergonomic seat would be. So if you're looking for more of that pillow top type feel, I'd probably go to somewhere like Staples or Office Depot and just sit in the chairs there. They have a ton of chairs with those pillow top type seats.
Jason, what's up? Picked up the wife a Leaf V2 in the red for Valentine's Day. You got that special? Let's go. That's awesome. I'm assuming that came from us. We did a Valentine's Day special on those. It was nice. It was a hot chair.
This is a good way I can show that, how that tilt tension makes a huge difference. If I crank, I can kind of sit in this middle position. I'm not locked in place at all. If I loosen it way up, then it's much easier to go back. So that's the benefits of that feature that most chairs have. A couple of these that we're going to talk about don't have.
All right, y'all. So anybody who just jumped in here, I'm seeing some outlets come through, and I'm actually seeing not just outlets, but I'm seeing other chairs coming through too that don't have your size attached to them. Remember, guys, it's pinned on the video right there. It's like the actual wrap of the video. I don't know what we call that. The background? What is that? I'm just the talent here. I don't actually know how to put this thing together. All right, so free gift with purchase, guys. Over $300, you get the Gaming Chairs Sucks t-shirt. When you guys are over $500, you get the hoodie. And then when you're over $800, you get the cup, right? Like the actual mug. But you guys, you got to let us know what your shirt size is. So when you purchase those, make sure you're putting in there XL, double XL, small, whatever it is. And don't forget to be using the coupon code, guys. It's outlet20 for 20% off on all the outlet items. And we held off and loaded everything up yesterday, so we've got as much stuff as we could get you guys to give you guys the absolute best deal on this. We've been loading these up for the last couple months, so we've got a ton of good stuff in there. All right, so next chair up, speaking of sit bones, we got the Anthros chair, and that chair is designed to avoid issues with the sit bones. It's the only chair in our list, in existence that I'm aware of that's got those big cutouts for specifically the sit bones, right? Not just your tailbone, but your actual sit bones, and it's got that thick padded seat that doesn't, like, you don't necessarily sink way down in it, but it just gives amazing support, and that feedback where it doesn't push back up against the seat bones, or sit bones. That's why I like this chair a ton, right? I think this chair is super unique. Again, very unique for some folks, but this thing ranks pretty high in the list. We've gone over this a couple times now. We've talked about it's been B+ in 2024, B+ in 2025, and the only thing for me that's holding it back is the arms. They're just a little bit rounded, and they feel a little wide for me, and the fact that front edge of the seat is it's cut off a little bit awkward for me, and it just feels not as good as it could with the knee tilt function on it. They're working on that. I know they're working on dropping something that changes these things, guys, and that's the only thing holding me back from an easy A on this chair because it's that comfortable. And again, I'm saying those arm pads, a lot of people say they love them. I know that Frances, it's her favorite chair. She S-tiered it in her own video. So,
yeah, I don't mind those arms. The people commenting on the Atlas not being the right chair, yes, you're correct. We'll get that link fixed for you. If you want the Atlas, we'll relink that out. Don't buy the one we linked. That's a completely different chair. But yeah, the Anthros is a super unique chair. I'm in the boat of liking the arm pads. I don't think that the arm pads need adjustment for me personally, the way that I use them. But yeah, I can see why some people might like a more flat design. I don't love the recline on the Fractal, on the Anthros. It's one of the things that I think it could be improved upon. And then I do think that it still needs seat depth adjustment, which is a huge thing for me. Just that front seat edge, it doesn't fit me unless I really push myself forward in the chair with what do they call it, the pelvic support. But then I don't feel like I'm in the correct spot in the chair, if that makes sense. It feels like I'm too far forward to be positioned perfectly. But I love the seat when I'm in terms of comfort. It's not so thick that you just sink all the way through it, but it is soft, it is cushy. I wish the back was a little bit more adjustable, but I do think it's very unique and it provides good support. So yeah, my rank hasn't changed a ton on this one. I'm still going to be around a B. But yeah, I think it provides a very unique chair for people that are just really looking for that hardcore back support, almost not medical, but kind of, you know what I mean? It's borderline like a medical type chair.
Few chairs let you really customize to this level of that support for the lower and upper back. Probably no other chair has that separate dials where you can get the top and bottom. So
it's pelvic support, Robert.
Pelvic support. I can't actually see Greg. We might have to move this thing. It's like it's hiding.
Maybe we shouldn't see each other. Maybe we're currently in a riff right now.
Yeah. So that's nice. It does take some tweaking. I think do they offer a service to help you fit your chair, or is that?
I think they offer like a consultation.
Yeah.
Like you can do like a FaceTime type thing.
And I would probably recommend that. We actually had them here and helped us do that a bit to learn how to fit it for ourselves, because it does take some tweaking, and I found that if I didn't have it right, then I would almost like feel my core engaged, trying to hold myself up until I had it positioned correctly. But I do love you can kind of see how those pads move with you. We're always talking about the movement in the chair, and that's really nice. I mean, again, how often am I doing this? Not necessarily, but when you do make kind of little movements, the fact that it's not this rigid backrest, it just feels much better. I'm kind of in between on the armrests. I don't mind the curve to them, but I don't necessarily love where they sit for me. So I don't
They're
know.
nice and soft, though. That's a fact.
The pads are good.
They are nice and soft. And you know what? Maybe if we can hear Frances over your mic, I don't know how loud she's going to talk. Still S tier in your book?
Oh, yeah. Send it every day.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. All right, guys. I think there's actually I don't know if we put the link in there, but they do have a sweet coupon that they give us. I think is it B-Todd for $200 off?
Taylor did link it.
She dropped it in there. Sweet. Yeah, so if you guys are going to buy one of those, absolutely use that link. Save yourself $200. Click that link and save some money with it. You still get the 30-day free returns, too. And like Robert said, yeah, they have a whole bunch of specialists that understand how the body works. They're going to definitely help you get set up in that chair for sure, guys. Human scale freedom. Rob is the biggest changer here on this one. Wow. I guess I'm technically somewhat similar. I gave it a little bit more love. Ryan just coming in strong, just leaving it just as he always should. Nothing's changed for Ryan. He is just liking it like an average $1,400 chair here, but I'm making a move, guys. I went from C to B minus. Okay, that's a fairly healthy move on that one. I think for me, it was just the fact that, you know what, in the realm of chairs and how much I've spent time-wise in that chair, it is better than a C tier chair. Okay, C plus. I think it's when I look at the things that are in that C plus range, it edges out some of those chairs, especially with the lumbar support. I don't love the fact that it's got that, weight activated. It's the original weight activated mechanism. It doesn't always work that great, but man, this is a pretty solid chair. The good thing about comfort is we don't have to necessarily say it's a good value. So in that regard, you know what I'm saying. So I went C plus to B minus on this one. Not that significant of a change, but it is one for sure.
Greg had to bump his up because he looked at the other C and C plus chairs and he was like, listen, I think that this is a little bit better. I'm the opposite. So I look at a chair like that Colamy Atlas that we rank at a C plus B minus, and I'm like, I'd rather sit in that thing all day long. And so I'm at a point where like I could potentially push this thing down to D tier because I cannot use this chair. Like I say this every time. The individual components, they're good. So the seat solo, good. The back solo, good. The headrest solo, amazing. When you put them all together into the forced recline position they put you in with those really wide T-Rex arms,
B minus.
I can't do it. And so, yeah, I'm holding firm at a C tier, but then I always have to qualify that by reminding everyone that this is a $1,500 chair, and there's a $100 chair that we put in C tier and a $250 chair that we put in B tier. So just throwing that out there.
This is tough. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that maybe can be seen as negatives that I'm okay with, like the T-Rex arms. For me, they fit me fine. They fit my body size, whatever. So they're not a knock at all. And in fact, I kind of like them. I know in the past you guys didn't love how they work together, but for me, that's kind of a benefit because it's like I can quickly just adjust my arms. I really love to have my arms the exact same level right at my desk, and Freedom makes that about as easy as possible to get them lined up and straight. And so I actually like that part of it. I think as I look at some of my rankings that have changed, I've probably leaned a little more towards liking headrests lately, which maybe is what gives this a little extra bump because I do love the headrest on the Freedom. It is very unique. Probably looks really uncomfortable how it's pushing my head forward, but this is not uncomfortable for me. This actually feels quite nice. The hood kind of complicates things a little bit, but
Okay, now go all the way back.
this is all the way back. But yeah, it's I don't know. I like how it feels. Like I feel like I can.
He's
still
a hater,
look
Robert.
Straight.
Robert, he's just a hater.
You were a hater until a month ago on this chair.
No,
Then you
I
bumped
wasn't.
It up to B minus,
There-
and all
here's
of a sudden you
here's
love
the
it.
thing. I've sat in this chair for months on end at my desk, and I like to use it with a keyboard tray, which not a lot of people are going to do. But
Yeah.
when I get in that mid recline, man, that thing is awesome for sure. I can sit in an upright. Full recline is not for me for sure. Just cranks a little bit on that neck. But I like this thing mid recline. And B minus, for what it is, I can see it. I mean, heads up, Ryan's possibly going to D tier on the next list. So if something else comes out better, it might knock it out.
Fair, each of us only went up by a half a grade. So, but that was enough to pull it from C to B. So.
I need a sofa chair with an armrest. All these chairs are not good. Odeon, you got to look at the Commander. Like that is a sofa. That's a recliner in an office chair. It is a beast. You got to hang tight though because it's the last chair in the tier list. So, keyboard tray, RC here. Don't come at me like that.
He does not like that keyboard tray.
Don't come at me like that. Yeah, it's 100% all about personal fitment for sure. All right, what do we got next? We got a Hayworth Fern. Hayworth Fern, guys. I saw a comment in here. Someone wants to know if they're going to come out with a bigger seat on this. I doubt it. I think you're getting what you get on this one. I don't really foresee them. I don't think they have any plus-size chairs. Yeah. I don't see Hayworth dropping a plus-size chair that's going to be out for everybody on the retail side.
Hayworth's response would be, "It fits you. Don't worry."
There you go. Robert, you want to see me.
I'm moving the light over,
He's moving the light so you can see me.
and I think I bumped the camera. Hopefully
Yep,
that
you
wasn't
did.
a
You
problem.
knocked it.
Yeah,
Is it
changed
crooked
everything.
now?
Can't even see you guys
fine.
anymore.
Fern will always win in the looks department. Yeah, it's a nice looking chair. Well, depending on which one you get, I guess. If you just have like the all black version, like just straight black with no digital knit or anything, then it's a pretty average looking chair.
Can you talk about your conversation and interactions with Anthro's CEO and your impressions of them?
Who are you?
That's a great question.
Please type your name into chat. I'm curious who you are because there's only a small handful of people that would be interested in hearing about that. Yeah, the one that we have specifically, the orange one with the chromed out frame, is really, really nice looking for sure.
Yeah, this is
especially with that digital knit.
Arguably the best looking chair in the whole office.
100%.
I'd argue that I love the looks of the embodied gaming, but it's a total different style, that's.
Yeah, all black. It's not as eye-catching for sure.
Or really the, what's it called? The Zodi Lux.
Yeah.
That's another beautiful chair, kind of similar looks, but.
And this is unique too because a lot of those chairs that are designed for looks, like for instance the Cosm, you have to sacrifice a lot in terms of comfort in order to achieve those perfect lines and the perfect angles and all the perfect, aesthetic that you're looking to create. Whereas the Fern is super, super comfortable and it looks amazing. So you're getting like the best of both worlds. It's kind of like the Embody. That's why this is one of my 3 chairs that I rank S tier right here, the Fern, but only in this specific configuration. So if you go digital knit, no lumbar, no headrest, then I'm at an S tier on this one all day. I think it checks all of the boxes for me. But then it's kind of weird because if you throw in the headrest, I would knock it down. If you threw in the lumbar, I'd knock it down probably a half a rank. If it doesn't have the digital knit, I'd probably bump it down from like an A to an A minus type thing. So very, very customizable, and I think that's going to have a big impact on where you would score it.
Just laughing. Someone dropped Robert's kitchen chair.
It's been refurbished over and over again.
That kitchen chair?
Well, every time we have one of those slop dinners or whatever you call it.
Yeah, it's been
you gotta
stained,
clean it up.
refinished, all sorts of times.
Ooh-wee, those Ameeps, they're going to be gone, guys. If you don't pick up the Ameep here quick, you're going to miss out on that opportunity. If you hit that outlet right now, like I said, there is only a couple left in there. They are in the only color that they're available in, one color. And you guys use the coupon code OUTLET20 before those ones are gone. So if you are thinking about getting an Ameep right now, you can get that Ameep in the outlet for $295. It's like $300 for that chair.
It's true, Phil. It is. Especially because
crazy.
it's an A-tier chair.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You're getting that's like when we talk about value, and I'm telling you, this $300 chair in C tier is absolutely amazing because it's a $300 chair in C tier. We've said that a couple times in the stream with the Atlas, with the Habata chair. When we look at the Ameep, that's a $300 chair that's A tier.
It's because it's coming from an EMEA and a Leap. So it's crazy to think what that is. Yes.
Borderline S tier. That's what's crazy. I mean, it's not that far off. We're probably A pluses on that for most parts of it. It's just incredible chair.
I have not had any problems heating up in the digital knit just because the way that the chair is designed, it's got this 4-layer system. So the backrest has 4 layers, and when you sit in it, there's like a big gap, like almost like an air pocket in there. So it's not just foam on foam. It's like pillow. It's like a little layer of pillow top, and then it's almost like suspended. It's hard to explain. So no, I haven't had any heating issues with it just because you're not pressed up against foam, and the digital knit's pretty breathable. It's not like leather. So
yeah, it just softens it up a little bit in the backrest. It was pretty incredible. Can't wait to see the Commander chair. There it is. Yeah, it's the comfort. Exactly. That's what it is. 100%. That's pretty much what you're looking at. It's just a super comfortable chair. So, all right. What do we got next after the Fern? That's what I'm talking about.
Seat is one of the most comfortable seat I've ever sat in. What kind of sorcery is this? Did someone say something negative about the EMEA?
Who's saying that?
Oh, I guess I must have missed something.
What kind of sorcery that $300 chair is that comfortable?
Oh, well, it doesn't have an EMEA seat.
It's got the
yeah.
Leap seat.
It's got the Leap seat in it. That's right.
Which is why I think it's an upgrade.
I was just arguably in what I would consider an S tier, maybe the most comfortable backrest of any chair.
And now you're in
Now
something
we're in the Tacova. Yeah.
pretty close, though.
Yeah, we're dropping, what, a tenth of the price down to get down to the Tacova?
Somehow this chair scored all C's, but we gave it a C- in 2025. That's because I gave it a C-,
you bumped it down.
but still, that looks like that would still be a C.
Yeah, sometimes putting it C+, C-, you kind of look at what chairs are next to it, and then, it
Move
might
it around.
end up going down on the C.
I think the biggest thing here for me why I took this from a C to a C- for me personally is just because if we look at this in, again, the grand scheme of chairs, this chair for the price is incredible, but we can't really think about that so much. It's hard to ignore sometimes on some stuff that's really inexpensive. This chair is like $139 most days, right? There's always a coupon code on it. And for people who are on like an incredibly tight budget, this actually is not a bad chair. I mean, for that kind of price, you're usually going to sit in a terrible gaming chair or some kind of creation. This really is a great chair for the price. But when you look at other options in that C tier, it's going to be kind of the worst of the group, I think, personally, for me. And that's what's to be expected when you're in this. It's not going to last you forever, so you need to understand that. And so I think when people pick this up and they go, it's not so great. It's like, well, it's a $140 chair. It's way better than you should ever expect at $140 bucks. This is still a gem in my book. I mean, I don't think it's going to be impossible to beat for the price unless you pick something up used and then strike a deal on some, hidden gem, really.
Like Francis's, what was it, $10 human scale chair she got this weekend? It's tough to beat, no matter which human scale chair it is. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling some of that, where I do feel like the seat, I'm either sinking through it or it's just that pad is firm. I think it's a mix of those two. So that's going to be the downside. So I wouldn't expect to sit in this for your 10 hours of working and gaming. This is probably not the chair for you. You're going to, if that were the case and this was all you could spend, I would just really recommend taking a lot of breaks so that it does feel comfortable when you are sitting in it, because it's not like there's even some other probably C-tier chairs that you could sit in longer. We've actually talked about this. We haven't, solidified if we're doing it, but we've thought about doing a tier list that's literally for chairs that you can sit for a long time in. So that's where like Tacova probably would drop down from that C tier, whereas other chairs are like probably would move up a little bit because we know that for long hours you can sit in it for a long time.
Yeah, I think that the major draw to the Tacova is that it It kind of does everything, and it doesn't have a lot on it that could be a potential complete deal breaker aside from the build quality. But that goes back to the $150 price. So like when I look down the list of my C-tier ranked chairs, I have the Tacova ranked C-tier, okay? So just going off of like Greg's logic and why he bumped his down, this is another one of those where I do look at the other C-tier chairs that I have at C-tier, and I think the Tacova kind of fits in with those. Like this isn't one of those chairs where this might be crazy to say, but it's a coin flip for me between this and that Freedom chair that we just had. There's a lot of things about this chair that I'd rather have than that Freedom chair. So is it, if we were ranking strictly build quality, it'd probably be, you know, F or D tier, because like Greg said, you're only really looking for this chair to last 2 years. If you get 3 years out of this chair, you've gotten a bonus year, but it's $125. You're paying $60 a year for the chair, but you do need to continually reinvest in the chair. But for that 2-year period, you're going to be getting the most comfortable, most adjustable chair that you can get for $125, like without question. Would we recommend bumping up to $300? 100%. Is the Atlas going to be a better option? Is the Amiip going to be a better option? 100%. Would we recommend going all the way up to $500? For sure. You're going to get 2-3 times the value. You're just going to be paying, you know, 3-4 times the price. So it just depends on what your budget is. But like Greg is trying to get at, just make sure your expectations are reasonable. It's a $125 chair. At most, it's going to be C tier. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I like the headrest is super easy to remove. That's what you're looking for. Just don't lose it like the remote, right? All right, steel case gesture coming up here, and I gave this one a little bit more love. Looks like Ryan gave it a little bit more love, and that's because biggest reason, again, we can only rank what we have, really. And so this one came with the headrest, and that's a game changer, I think, for this chair. That's one of the best aspects, in my opinion, with this one. Again, I've noted quite a bit that seat on there, when it comes to the 3 higher tier steel case chairs, which I'm going to call the Amiya, Leap, and the Gesture. It's my least favorite of all the seats on it, and it just has this sort of thin almost feeling in the tailbone region for me personally, and it sort of slants the wrong way, so it almost kind of feels like you're sliding out of the chair. Armrests on this are game changer, S tier for sure, although when you're looking at the 4-way arms on the Leap or the Amiya, I would say they're within like a margin that's so slim that most people wouldn't care. But again, the cantilever arm is super unique to this particular chair. The lumbar isn't quite as good as the Leap, but again, I'm comparing it to my top tier chairs. With that said, I moved it from I moved this one from B, and I moved it up into B minus. I had it at to a B plus, which is really close. That seat thing is a big issue for me, and I like aggressive lumbar. Otherwise, if it even had just a Leap seat on it or something close, we're not going to Frankenstein this chair, but it would be an easy A for me. That seat is kind of, I can't do it. So,
to think or not, can you please expand on that comment? I'm curious what you mean by that. Yeah, so for me, the one unique thing about the Gesture and why I bumped it up to that A minus, I held the Gesture back for the same reasons as Greg. I don't love the seat pad, and I also feel like it's kind of slanted forward and you're kind of falling out of the chair. Everything else about the chair I did like. I love the armrest. I think the backrest is good. It's got a ton of flexibility, which I really, really value in a chair. And then I do like the intuitive adjustments. The knobs on the side, you're not reaching all over the place, and it's a really clean-looking chair. The headrest addition for me is a complete game changer, because the headrest market in these $1,500 plus chairs is absolute garbage. The headrest on the Fern, trash. The headrest on the Zodi, not good. Like, none of these chairs have good headrest. The Embody, Aeron, they don't come with headrests unless you want to spend $300 on an aftermarket headrest you may or may not like. So when we look at high-end chairs that have a good headrest, there isn't any. The Gesture has it, and it's a really, really good headrest. One of the nicest headrests I've ever used. Multi-way adjustable, really, really big, but it conforms to your neck or your head, however you want to use it. I think they did a phenomenal job with it. And so for me, it pushes it up to that A tier, especially for those like lounging situations. So for like a home office, for me, the Gesture is now a really, really good pick, because it looks really, really nice in your home office. It's going to have that type of seat where you can sit in it any way you want, like Robert touched on earlier in the stream, where you can sit cross-legged, any way that you want to sit in the chair, you're going to be able to do. And so for a home office situation, I think this is one of the best $1,500 plus dollar chairs that you can get because of that headrest.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. You guys kind of nailed it. To me, the biggest downside is that feeling of sliding off the front of the seat. There's not really any way to get around that. I mean, you can try to recline back and then you don't feel it as much, but it's always there.
Hey, Robert, I
Something
need
good?
you to address me as the Greg moving forward.
The Greg?
Correct, just like Ryan did.
Did he say that?
He
The
called,
Greg?
yeah, he said, I'm the Greg, and I appreciate that RC here picked it up. So call me the Greg.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, there's nothing else. I mean, Ryan pretty much knocked
Yeah.
that one out, and then there was nothing left. There's no more meat left on that bone. To the comment about Jester trying to make that tailbone cut out, it's not. It's not a tailbone thing. It's a sit bone thing on the Anthros chair. They didn't do a cutout for your tailbone. It's your sit bone. So when you look, it's like your butt cheeks cut out, right? So that's what it is on there. The cutout on that is, yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It's just like, it's like they wanted to let the air out in that region. You can see there's little pockets in a lot of foam pads. You can see it in the EMEA ones too. It like just helps the seat compress down and lets that air come out. So what's the warranty on the Greg? Yeah. I don't know what's up with that. How can I get some of these high-end chairs for a competitive price? For reference, an Aeron costs $1,252 here. Wow, that's actually a really good price because that chair will run for like $2,000. Debating on getting a gaming and body other than the noise. Are there any other downsides? Aiden, the only downside for me would be just on the backrest. It sort of rolls my arm or my shoulders forward. You'll see that if you're, over 6 foot for some people. You can take that back and pull it back a little bit so it doesn't push you as far forward. For me, I don't love it for that reason, but I mean, it's still an amazing chair. Let's go, Jared. Did you put in your size? Because I'm seeing people failing to put in sizes here. Jared grabbed up an Ameep. And let's see. Jared, you didn't put your size in there. Guys, we're giving away merch with your purchases. So you already know that gaming chairs suck. We just put that on shirts. We put it on hoodies. We put it on T-shirts. And we've got it on a little mug. Do we have the mug here? I feel like we should have one out. Maybe I'll have to go grab one. There should be one on someone's desk. Yeah, for sure. So, but again, so when you make a purchase and you're over $400 or over $300, guys, you get the T-shirt, right? If you purchase over $500, you guys get the sweatshirt, and if you go over, I think it's like $800. It says right in the stream. $800, guys. You're gonna get a sweatshirt and you're gonna get a mug. So,
Thank you.
Jared, make sure you hit. Maybe you should make sure to hit us back up. We got to get you that shirt.
I don't know if I'm going to drink out of this mug. It's been sitting on my desk for a little bit.
Arthur Kang, thoughts on the headrest longevity? JZ2 Cents had a whole video about his gesture. I saw that. I mean, Phil Boucher, one day I'll get a hat. Guess what, guys? I mean, depending on how you are to your chairs, how you abuse your chair is going to end up how long it's going to last. But
Yeah.
the thing about a Steelcase gesture chair is they've got that 12-year warranty on there. A headrest shouldn't just be falling off from you just applying pressure from your neck and your head. That's going to be some actual legitimate abuse to the chair.
Well, John, you got a Embody Gaming, right? Is that held up really? You've had that for years now, right?
Yeah, I've had it for like 3 years.
How's the fabric look? So he's 3 years in, using it daily.
He said it looks perfect since he's not mic'd up, but he's in that
Yeah.
thing all day
Aside
long,
from his cat
every
hair.
day.
Maybe some cat hair. Yeah.
Boom, there it is. That's it right there. So again, Jared, make sure you let us know, guys. And again, the outlets too. If you don't, how the outlets work, you're gonna save an additional 20% with the outlet coupon, right? It's outlet 20. There's a bunch of stuff in there. We loaded it up for this stream. This is kind of how we're gonna promote this. Is getting. We got to keep the lights on, right? So we got to sell some stuff on the stream too before we have too many chairs to get rid of. So we save them up because we know you guys want to get a good deal. Make sure you use that coupon. There's limited supply of all of the ones in there. There's specific configurations because they're just returned from customers. But we're throwing in some of this merch stuff with it too. So, just got to throw your size in there and use that coupon. But you guys are getting crazy deals. I mean, people are paying the full retail price on it for it not to be returned. You just got to make sure that it's what you want because you can't return them again once they've been returned.
Just purchased an Emeep. We got to be down to 2.
That was a fully refurbed.
Oh, okay.
My OG Mira is going strong since '07 and has no signs of breaking.
Nice.
Let's go. I got
chairs last forever. That's the one thing about those chairs.
I got a gesture with a headrest for 5 years. Feels fine. Yeah, TH, that's what I'm talking about. Jay-Z 2 cents. I don't know, what he did. I guess I should watch the video over, but
Oh God, are we talking about that guy?
someone asked about it.
Okay.
So,
With a grain of salt, people. That's all I'm gonna say. With a grain of salt.
there you go.
Listen, you can't be you can't be pushing the limits of the chair when it comes to capacity and then firing yourself into the chair to deliberately test how strong it is and then being like, oh man, it broke.
And it's a headrest, but remember, a headrest it's meant for you to go like this.
Like, I thrashed my headrest around and plopped down in the chair over and over it, and treat your chair nicely and it will work. That's all I'm going to say. Treat your nice things nicely and they will last.
If you get it from BTAT, please try to treat it somewhat nicely.
Oh.
Picked up the Atlas a few weeks ago. Love it for home use. Smaller figure, so the seat size not a problem. Worth the money, 100%. There you go. There you go. That's what it's all about. All right. Next up in the old Listeroni, we've got the OM. Yes, this is a solid chair, guys, here. We've got it ranked at a B+ here for the 2025 tier list. Rob moved it up. He is loving it. And Greg moved it up. Ryan stayed the same. There's no change.
I think for me, again, we brought out the version. This is actually a newer Yes, even though it doesn't have the headrest on it. But again, kind of going with that theme I said earlier, love the headrest on the Yes chair. Which again, we're not highlighting. Maybe we can pull that one out in a minute. But it's like an S tier headrest with lots of adjustments. So that kind of gives it a little bump if you buy it in that format. And then also the seat. It's got that contour design, which we talk about in the big, our main tier list, which I really like. This is kind of one of the reasons why I like the gesture backrest. To me, it feels like it's giving me a little bit of a hug, and I like that feeling. Just like the seat, it kind of gives you a little bit of a cradle, even though it's not restrictive. You still can, it's not like a hard bolster.
Robert,
Yeah,
you love hugs.
I do like hugs, especially from my wife and children.
And you also like a good hug for me, too, every once in a while.
I don't think that's ever happened before.
Well, we need to fix that, guys. We need to show more appreciation at BTOD here, especially for fellow huggers.
I'm about to hit 8 years. Maybe on my 8-year anniversary at BTOD.
That's what it
I'll get
is.
a hug.
Robert's about to be here on his eighth year anniversary at BTOD, and I tell you what, I'm going to give him a hug for that. Ryan will, too. He didn't say no. So.
Yeah, this goes so high, like way, higher than you need, which is pretty nice. Of course, that's a little bit adjusted by the backrest, too, because you can raise and lower. I actually, even though I'm taller, I like to keep the Yes backrest a little bit lower because I like to feel the lumbar support lower down in my back. So, but it still works. I can keep the backrest a little bit lower, and the headrest still goes high enough. So.
Oh, snippity snap. There's one.
Yeah, we're down to one of these
There's
already?
one Yes in the outlet, y'all. One Yes in the outlet. Make sure you grab that 20% off coupon, because what does that price come to? It's ridiculous.
Seat a little
This has got to be one of those that's like, you probably shouldn't get an Atlas because you could get this instead.
Oh, my gosh. Lid Lock TV, $2 to give Robert a hug. Man, you're going to have to pay more than that. He doesn't want a hug from me.
I had my school had human scale different chairs. Wow. That's expensive. And after 2 years straight, I had to find a chiropractor.
Oof.
Okay.
All right. Lauren Ashley says, my company will buy me a chair. They usually buy steel case of Mia or Think, but I can request a different one. I love the look of the branch Verve. Is it stupid to get that instead?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Care
Care about aesthetics, but have back pain. I would not get that chair for anything other than the looks. And I think usually when you get a chair based solely on looks, you're quite disappointed. So,
Yeah. You're paying a very high price for a chair that feels like it should be around $300. So that's all I'm going to say about that chair. If you have the opportunity to get a $1,000 chair that we rank borderline S tier, or a $600 chair that we would probably put somewhere around D, I would very much recommend that a Mia. it doesn't have the looks. I get it. That's the biggest downside of the Amiya, is that it's a boring-looking chair, but you're getting A-level seat, A-level back, A-level arms, and you're getting a steel case chair. And so that thing's going to last forever.
All right, so that Yes chair is $466.99 before that coupon.
Yeah.
I see people
So you're getting
looking
that for mid $300, guys. Wow.
$373.59.
That's a really, that's an amazing deal.
I think the other thing I forgot to tell everybody is the outlet stuff is going to ship out either today. It will either ship today. Like right now, everybody is in the warehouse. So if you guys are buying stuff right now, this will ship out today. It'll be on its way today. You'll see it. I mean, depending on how close you are. We're in Wisconsin. You could see it tomorrow, Sunday, because FedEx delivers on the weekends. Monday, Tuesday. I think it's West Coast is usually like 4 days. Yeah. You guys are East Coast. It's going to be 2 to 3. So you guys will see stuff right away.
Yeah, lid lock, I can see that. Unfortunately, human scale chairs, it's kind of one of their MOs is that they are a little bit louder. And so I agree that they can be squeaky at times, so certainly annoying. And they don't have a ton of adjustments. That's kind of, again, their claim to fame is that they don't want them to have a ton of adjustments because people typically in like a computer room setting like you're describing here, they're not going to use the adjustments. And so they just kind of go to waste, and then people don't really know how to use the chair. And so their whole theory is we're going to give it very few adjustments and have the chair adjust to you. Drawbacks there, obviously. I will say, though, that I like the different chairs, like the different smart chair. I would have ranked right up near A tier. I think it has a very comfortable seat, comfortable arms, really comfortable backrest, like almost S tier comfortable backrest. Only two things that I don't like about the chair are the recline. I wish it had a little bit better recline. I don't like that hip thrust. And then kind of the elbow knocker, funny bone knocker. But otherwise, I think the different smart's a great chair. Or the different, well, I guess whichever one you're using. The different line in general. Amiya S all day long, Greg agrees.
Yeah, that's
advantage. The material quality is going to be much higher than like the Branch Verve. So it's going to have the longevity, and it'll look nicer for longer because it's not going to wear down.
Elmog, we don't have the chair. We're certainly open to reviewing it if you want to send us.
What is it?
We don't have it. The Sihu 5X Pro, the one that sells like bread.
Are we about to get
We
a
don't
bread?
have that one, right?
No, I've never heard of it. But I know that if it's chairs selling like bread, I definitely want to try it.
$15?
For the chair?
Holy moly. No, Lidlock could have bought an Amiya for $15.
What did Robert, what'd you get it for that one time?
Well, it was technically 25, but I didn't have the correct change, so I had to pay 30.
Okay. And then you had to refurb it in our
that
shop.
sounds like a Facebook marketplace scam.
Oh,
right
it
there.
was.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a scam. I mean, I got the video because I just had to drop my money in like a little tin.
Oh.
And I didn't have a $5 bill, so I had to give them a 20 and a 10. It still felt like a good value.
Got it.
You know, let us know next time. We'll bring the truck. We're going to load out that restore store. Is that what you call it? Restore store?
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
One of the complaints I've seen about the Leap V2 is the seat being comfortable. Oh, I thought you'd never ask. Here we go. Well, rails back. Let me tell you something. Number one, I think, first of all, I think if people think the seat is uncomfortable, it's more likely just due to the fact that the seat's not for them. I don't think that, personally, in my opinion, you should be changing what they've done. You should try to keep what they've done consistent because, again, there's a ton of money that went into the research and development on a Leap. I mean, they have the study up there. It was millions and millions and millions of dollars, went across multiple countries, tons of different people using them for different types of ways in offices. But we do lacrosse. We could have made that lid lock TV. But again, that's exactly what it is. So either the Leap seat's going to work for you or it's not going to work for you. But we did actually just drop. We did a soft launch. If you guys have been watching our chairs, we have a new seat bed we've been working on for months. So we wanted to retool the original seat. We didn't want to change it. We're not trying to add padding, remove padding. We're trying to keep it as it is, just make it new again so that you guys, when you get the chairs, you have the decision. Do I want to reuse a seat pad that someone else had, or do I want to get a new one? Now that option's up there. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. It's super quick. We got a couple of them. And we got a video that's going to drop on this here soon too, but hold on one second.
So again, guys, it's very important to understand that our new seat pad is not thicker than the original seat pad designed by Steelcase. We replicated it. So this is designed for people that don't want a used cushion because they don't want to sit in something that someone else has sat in before. If you are looking for a thicker cushion, then this is not it. And again, we recommend just going with a different seat entirely, like the Amiya seat or a different chair, because trying to increase the thickness on this does not, it doesn't work. It changes the ergonomics. You're going to have the same problem with the tailbone because it's just thicker and it compresses into the same spot. So yeah, I'll let Greg take it away now.
We got the plastic shell on the bottom of here. We don't necessarily need the black plastic shell, but again, this is how basically it looks. Like when you're getting a seat pad from a refurbished chair, this is essentially what it's going to look like when it comes out of the chair. So a lot of times the new ones are going to look like this color right here, the brand new seat pads that come out of Leaps, but over time they're going to just naturally change color. That's just how the foam works. But you can see this is an original seat pad that from one of the chairs that came in. It's still in good shape. But over time, obviously it's going to compress a little bit. We try to do as much as we can with these by putting them through the steam process to kind of rejuvenate them. But we also put a thin layer of foam on the bottom. So if you guys have ever watched our process video, we always put this high density foam underneath it just to kind of give it that sort of layered up, it's kind of like a mattress. It just gives it a little bit more life so that we can give it these chairs a second life. We're trying to reuse as much as we can, because obviously it's going to save you guys money, but it's also going to be just good for the environment. Now, some of these seat pads come in, you can't reuse them. So in the past, we just have to get rid of them. So we retooled it for 2 reasons. Number one, because we knew we had to get rid of them and we want to make as many chairs whole again as we can. But some of you don't want to have a used seat pad. So that's what this is. This is a brand new seat pad built to the OEM specs. You can see they look just the same. This one's just brand new, right? So that's what you're going to get with the chairs when you add that new seat pad. Right now, they're only $35 to add that on there. We basically replace it. We don't put the foam underneath it because you don't need it. And you're going to be sitting on this chair and you're going to think it's brand new in the seat because, well, it is. So this is where we're at. We're going to be dropping a video to show this complete new process, how we're adding these into the chairs. But this is just a sneak peek at it. I don't know if anybody's asking any questions because I can't see it, but
no, everyone's just watching in amazement at the new seat pad in all its glory.
The new seat pad, yeah, everybody wanted to see this. This is being made in Wisconsin. Again, we're super stoked about this. So you'll see those right on the page. There's an option to add your new seat pad. So you can see how it works in the shell. We are up in there. We are very close now. You don't get any closer to the seat pad without being in the seat pad. All right, I'm going to give the mic back to Robert.
Yep, so that's going to be the new seat pad, guys. So right now it's going to be available on that Leap. Our next mission is to get one on the Amiya so that we have them for both. But again, soft launch on that one. We're going to be ordering more, and they've already been pretty popular so far. A lot of people picking them up, so should be good. Should be good. Gives you guys a new option, right? We are amazed. Nice. Okay, what do we got there?
Phil's best day of his life was looking at those seat pads up close and personal. That's what I'm talking about.
Nice. Another awesome chair here. So we got the Hayworth Soji here. This is what they consider to be their well, I guess they have that weird chair. What is that chair called? That's like $300. That doesn't seem like it's a Hayworth chair. Whatever. This is their entry-level ergonomic chair. $500 to $600, $700 if you spec it super, super ultra. But for that $500 to $700 price range, this is always one of my go-to picks. I think that Hayworth does a very, very good job with their chairs in every price point that they're in. They're very competitive. And the Soji, for me, kind of checks all those boxes without giving you something that's going to ruin the chair. Like, they didn't try to do too much with the chair. It doesn't have a feature that's just only going to be good for a few people and potentially ruin it for the rest. So to me, it doesn't wow me with anything, but it does everything very, very well. And so for that $500 to $700 price range, getting a very well-rounded chair from one of the big threes that's going to last a really long time, great warranty, I think that this is, if you're in that $500 to $700 range and you're not looking at the Soji, then I think you're doing something wrong, because this should be your go-to if you want a new chair. One of the first chairs you look at, in my opinion.
I just saw the funniest comment on the Soji video, and we don't always reply to all of the comments. There's a ton of comments that come through on the videos, but someone said that their brand new Soji wasn't even remotely close to their IKEA chair that they got for $100. And I think usually those are the comments that I look at, I laugh, and then I move on. But I entertain that one a little bit, and I just, if you say something compared to IKEA and it's this chair and it's better on the IKEA chair, guys, come on. Those IKEA chairs are D- at best tier, okay?
That's only because you can sit in them.
Right. That's absolutely.
Dan is right. The chair the Breck is their new, really low price chair.
They have the Assure too.
The
That's
Assure is the
other
one that I was
cheap
trying to
one.
think of. I
Yeah.
completely forgot about the Breck, which kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
If you're going to get a Hayworth chair, get the Soji. If you're not getting the Soji, then get a different brand if you're looking for something less expensive, in my opinion.
And this does have a pretty big range. Like if you can see how much seat depth range it has. It has seat height goes quite tall. It's not that often that, my feet feel like they're dangling here. So if you're tall, it'll work pretty well. And the backrest stays good ways above my shoulders. So
It is one of those chairs where when you look at the other entry-level chairs from the big manufacturers, so for instance, the Sail from Herman Miller, the Series 1 from Steelcase, and then the Breck from Hayworth, all those chairs are so small. Like,
Yeah.
you have to be like 5'8" or lower to actually fit in those chairs where, like Robert's saying, the Soji's not the case at all. You can make the chair, the seat depth gets really big, the arm height can go really low, really high, and then, like he showed, that seat height can go, it literally makes my feet dangle. So it fits a wide range of people, which is really rare.
Someone's about to ask their boss to get that Lamia. That's what I'm talking about, Ohio Bob. Make sure you do that today, though, because you got that 20% coupon that you can get right now.
The IKEA Jarflet is the worst chair I've ever sat in. Yeah,
it's F tier.
can't disagree with that, Phil.
Maybe
Yeah.
G.
Yeah.
Garbage tier.
Yeah.
My colleague and I have been struggling with lumbar support on our current $1,200 chairs. I'm 5'8", 150, and it hits way too low at its max. She's 5'10", 165. I feel like what $1,200 chair do you have? Because if it's like the Leap has a pretty big range of motion on the back to get that lumbar up there. Again, guys, don't forget, though, I'm seeing orders coming in, and you're not putting – either you don't think gaming chairs suck or you just don't want a free T-shirt, mug, or you don't want the hoodie, guys. You got to scoop that up. Make sure you give us the sizes when you guys are running those orders through. And don't forget to use the coupon code OUTLET20 on all stuff, 20% off. So, like, if you guys want to get a Lamia, you can get it 20% off right now. Seriously. These are literally in perfect condition. They go out to a customer. It doesn't fit them for whatever reason. It's a chair. You know how it is. You get a chair, it doesn't work. You send it back because we've got free returns. We inspect these chairs. Anything that's wrong with them, we'll fix it. For instance, like if it was dirty or something, that thing would never go back out again. They're always perfect chairs. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the one we're sending out and an outlet or if it was fully refurbished or brand new. And the reason for that is because we're going to go through the same process just as if it were brand new. So scoop those up, get that outlet 20 rolling. If my boss doesn't go for it, I'm getting it myself. That's what I'm talking about.
Ohio Bob, this is how you convince your boss to get it. To make the Lamia, you need the Amiya and the Leap. So it's a $2,500 chair. So go to your boss and say, listen, I want to get this Lamia. They sell it brand new for $2,500. Right now I can get it on the BTOD website with 20% off the outlet and then you tell him the price, and he'll be like, oh my God, you can get a $500 chair or $2,500 chair for $500? Yeah, let's buy that. You're good to go.
Done.
You're getting like an 80% discount.
Oh, did we just roll up on a chair that's just the game changer of chairs?
We did.
This is a chair that's not a chair, okay? This is an Ameep chair. You'd have to do the opposite of what Ryan just when you do it a Lamia, you get this chair. So for $2,500 new, you'd get 2 chairs, but you'd get the opposites, right? The Ameep chair. This one has been a solid A ranking in 2024 and 2025 with 0 change, just solid A's across the board. I think there's one of those outlets left if you guys want to scoop it up. It's been hanging out there. Make sure you guys are using that coupon code OUTLET20 on this one. All right.
Kind of trippy when I jump in one of these because I'm so used to sitting in a Leap, and then the controls feel just a tiny bit different because they got the Amiya controls.
Yep.
But it's kind of amazing. I mean, everything works fully functional Ameep. Seat height here, you got the Leap seat depth. So it's like, you're not getting this, even though it sounds like this weird mix of two chairs, you're still getting all those functions. So you're getting the basically the AMIA functions here with that same seat slider that comes right here. Huge range. Super comfortable chair.
Yeah,
This is
so
another
if
one.
I'd say Robert's borderline on this chair, right? Like with the height wise. When you get to like 6'3", that's the only complaint that we see, besides the fact that it doesn't have the multi-position. I'd say there's three things. Well, three things for people. It can be a little short in the back if you're like 6'3" and above. 6'2" is right on the edge. You can see Robert. Are you 6'2" today or are you 6'3"?
I'm feeling 6'2".
He's feeling 6'2" today, so he's about 6'2". We always joke that Robert's sometimes 6'3". He's definitely taller than me for sure. I'm 6 foot. But anyways, that back can be a little short if you're taller. The lumbar support is not as aggressive as the Leap, but I like aggressive lumbar, and I think it's still adequate for me, more than adequate. And then it doesn't have the multi-position tilt lock on it. So if you it's not tilt lock, excuse me, but you know what I'm talking about. So you can't position it. It doesn't have the backstop on it. It's just basically lock it up or let it freely go back and forth. I just crank the tension on it so I can kind of live in between wherever I want to be. The nice thing about the Leap and the AMIA is it has a little more tension in the seat slider, which works with the tilt. And so when you're reclining in the chair, you can kind of sit in a position if you want to.
Then I miss, because not having that tilt lock positions, because you just, or it's, what is it, a reclined stop? Is that what it is?
Tilt tension. Tilt limiter.
Yeah, tilt limiter. So I tilt limit on my own, like using the tension, just get it tight enough, I can stop wherever I want. And I'm not engaging my core to do that. I'm just comfortably sitting in the exact spot I want. So any chair that does this, huge bonus.
Ryan, you prefer the Leap seat over the AMIA seat a little bit, so you think it's actually a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best value in office seating, without question. For me, you're getting the most comfortable seat you can get with the best arm package that you can get, other than maybe the gesture, maybe. And then arguably one of the most comfortable backrests. The only backrests that I think are more comfortable are on the Fern, the Leap, and the Embody, which are going to be $1,500+ chairs. And so you're getting, in my opinion, potentially an A+ chair for $300 to $400. It's, I get that they're refurbished and they're used, but you're not going to, this compared to like an Atlas or the Tacova or the E3, which are the other chairs for, $400 and under that we've recommended, or the Yes, which is in the outlet as well. This thing blows all of those out of the water. You're comparing an A or an A+ chair to a C tier chair, and that's going to be legitimate. And so that's why we sell out of these instantly every time we have them. That's why we only have one left.
All right, what do we got next up in this list? We got the Fractal Design, and this is a chair that we just had someone asking questions about. Well, not just. I think we missed it. What we got? Let's go back in the comments here quick. Ohio Bob, the issue is you talk to your boss. I talked my boss into buying me a Secret Lab Titan. Oh.
So this is what you do, Bob. You get the Lamia, and then you pass off that Secret Lab Titan to your buddy in the office, and then you hook him up with all the free merch that we gave you, and it's perfect.
So he gets the gaming chair and gets the gaming chair sucks.
Yeah, he can rock his new mug with his new gaming chair. He'll be in business.
6'2", 108 pounds. Yeah, for sure. For sure. You're welcome. Absolutely. 5'10" is so nice for being a chair nerd, according to Phil Boucher. He fits in all chairs. Is it weird if my Embody back fit only feels good if I have it nearly fully dialed back?
Lumbar can feel aggressive for people, so it's certainly not out of the ordinary. And that lumbar support not being adjustable is certainly a factor. So, I mean, that's one reason why people don't love the chair and they return it. If it's not for you, I would maybe just try another one, like the Fern or the Gesture would be my next go-to picks after the Embody.
Adjusting the back angle too can kind of change where the lumbar hits.
That's what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
So when he loosens it all the way up, then the lumbar is okay for him. But
Okay,
when he
yeah.
tightens it up, then it's too much. So
I see.
it's a personal preference thing. Yeah, the Leap might be a good option for you too, just because you have a huge selection of your lumbar support. You can go almost no lumbar, like the way that I use it, or you can go maxed out lumbar, like more lumbar than you could ever imagine. So
What would they call that if it was maxed out so much lumbar you could never?
ultra max.
The Ultra Max lumbar. All right, so Fractal Refine. What do you think, Robert? We got this thing listed right now as a C+ ranking overall. Why is it not higher?
Ooh, well, for me, it's going to go to that seat depth. I just feel like I'm missing so much, as you can see here. I mean, there's just like a massive gap here. So I'm not even hitting in the front here. So it's like I'm just sitting on my butt, and my legs aren't doing any help. So
Is that
that's a
extended
big
all the way
problem.
out too?
Ooh,
Because that is one unique
Yeah.
thing about this chair, which is nice, is that it does have seat depth. So like a Secret Lab Titan is not going to have seat depth just due to the nature of that racing style design.
Ooh, I had a little more depth to go. So
Tiny.
it's still, as
bit
you
more.
can see, it's still not even close. But yeah, now I guess I could feel a tiny bit here. But to me, that's the biggest reason why it's not higher. I mean, the back is definitely feels pretty flat. So that's another problem. It's better than like the Titan chair, but it still could use a little more padding, kind of the center of the back. It's almost like my spine is just kind of hitting something hard there. But a lot of nice things, like the arm pads feel nice. I like the headrest, how it slides up and down. So they're taking steps to having a gaming styled chair that is more comfortable.
Yeah, for me, this is the best gaming chair that you're going to find for $500 or less.
Someone just popped in the chat. Phil, hooking him up with the answer. Carl wants to know what's the difference between a regular refurb leap and an outlet. It's the only difference is that it's been used, right, in the trial period of 30 days and then returned. You can't return a return again. So you can't return an outlet. So you want to make sure that that's the chair you want. Our normal refurbished leaps, those are going to have 30-day free returns. You're going to, you save, I don't even, what the price, I got to look at that price again, but I want to say you're somewhere in the fives, or even lower with those refurbished leaps. Give me 1 second. I'm going to give you that answer.
Yeah, so the reason that I think that the Fractal Refine is the best gaming chair for, $500-600 or less is because they actually started with an ergonomic chair design and then catered that design to look more like a gaming chair instead of going with the racing bucket style design. Just because that racing bucket style design, like a Secret Lab Titan Evo, is very, very limited in what it can do, right? It's going to have those massive side bolsters. It's going to be a very, very rigid and restrictive frame. It cannot have seat depth adjustment, back height adjustment, all the adjustments that you'd look for to kind of cater your chair. And then you're also going to be limited to that really low-end center tilt, maybe a knee tilt mechanism if you do upgrade to like a Secret Lab Titan and pay $500-600 for that chair. Whereas with the Refine, you're getting all of the ergonomic adjustments that you look for. The seat depth, you get a synchro tilt recline with multiple back stops, so that you're always in an ergonomic position without your knees coming up. The armrests are far more adjustable, not in that they have more adjustments, they're four-way adjustable, but the ranges are way bigger. Like on the Titan, I can't even use the arms. I have to put the arms higher than my desk to be able to scoot it up to my desk because they won't go low enough to be even with my desk or under my desk. Whereas the Refine's arms have massive ranges in every direction. The pads are really, really good, and I think that their headrest is way better. So my favorite thing about the Titan is the headrest. And the Refine just did it way better because they put it on a track system. So it's always in place. It's not being held by a magnet or straps. It's on a track, and then you can remove the headrest completely. So if you don't want to use the headrest, you just push a button on the top of the backrest, and it pops right out. So you can see Robert just took it out, and they don't even have to use the headrest. And then it also has a better lumbar support system, in my opinion, because it's a built-in system. I don't know. I just think
Did you
there
just
are some
put the
shortcomings
pad down there?
for sure. There are some shortcomings, like the straight back from the lumbar region up. And then I do wish that they just went away from the side bolsters entirely. I get that they're very toned down, and they're not nearly as intrusive as like a typical gaming chair, but I'd like to see them just get rid of them completely. But I do think that they're very, very close. So I like this chair a lot.
So I got to respond to that question on the outlets. Guys, I'm pretty sure that the outlet price is wrong. I don't know. It's crazy. We would sell them for $638.99. The outlet price is $554.99. Then when you use a 20% coupon on a Leap right now, it's $443.99. That's ridiculous.
Didn't seem to like that pricing. So
$443.99. You guys are, that's ridiculous. That's like 30% off of what we would sell them for on the full retail. Same thing if you're looking at the Mias. They're $369, which is down by your meat price normally. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, those are great. Those are a great deal. If you guys want to get an F-tiered Aeron Classic, we've got a couple size A's for cheap as well. F-tier.
This is a nice recline on this chair too.
Yeah.
You get back, like all of a sudden when I recline back, the seat depth doesn't bother me because my weight isn't in the front. So it's like, in the headrest, I mean, I push this thing all the way down, even though I'm tall, to get it in that bend of my neck. And this feels real nice.
I feel like I have to say this. I'm going to do this every 3 minutes because I can watch you coming from the video and buying. Guys, put your shirt size in there so we can get you that gaming chair sucks shirt, right? Even if you don't want it necessarily, I guarantee you know someone who's going to love that thing. You can rock that. If you spend over $300 up to $500, you get that shirt. If you spend over $500 to $800, you get the sweatshirt. And over $800, you guys are legit going to get the mug and you're going to get the sweatshirt. So make sure you're dropping your shirt sizes in there. I have made sure to tell the service team not to reach out to every person ordering like we have in the past. So you have to do just a little bit of work. Drop that shirt size in there, and then make sure you're using outlet 20 on the coupon code. Don't forget that. You're just leaving money with us, which I guess Ryan appreciates, but you know, I guess don't use the coupon. Don't use outlet 20, guys. We're gonna make Ryan's day today.
Maybe a lot of the people have kids and they don't, you know, like my kids, then they see me wear this shirt, they're like, Dad, we're not supposed to say sucks.
That's true. That's true. But did they say it like that? Did they say sucks?
Yeah.
Because that's how my kids roll too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say that. Why did you just say it? That doesn't make any sense.
And they
Anyways.
argue because they're 10 and they think gaming chairs are cool. So
Ohio
chairs don't
Bob.
suck.
Ohio Bob wants to know what my chair, my Commander chair, the 24-hour chair is in the ranks. Yes, it is in the ranks, and it is I'm going to give you a sneak peek. It's an A tier, so it's an S tier for a lot of people though. If you're looking for just a bigger chair, something that's going to give you good support throughout that day, but you want to use it extended beyond just for work, it's an incredible chair that way. So, oh my goodness. Tony of the Hills, his Fractal Refine is getting to his house today. Hopefully you still like that chair after what we just said.
nice.
It's a solid chair for sure. It's got some room to get better, and I know they're going to work on it. So, all right, what do we got next up in here? We got the NP 8000, guys. Neutral posture 8000 chair. Ooh, doggy. We got some change on this one too. We've had this one in a lot of our. I think this is from the original tier list. Even it's been in there that long. It has been ranked in the past a B. This year it moved up into that B+ category, and this is one of the first ones I think that Ryan changed his up on. Nope, second one. He did move.
Better memory of what he said in the past and can lock it in.
Well, you saw what he said with the Freedom, man. He was going to bring it down, not up. So it's just he got a different opinion. He's giving you that look, and he's going to tell you what it is. All right, so Rob, 2 Bs, moved this from a B up to an A, and he's going to tell you why. Ryan went from a B to a B+, guys. I just stayed consistent at my B.
Yeah, so I think it's just, for me, the only reason I was knocking it down into that B tier is because I didn't like the recline, which is still true. It doesn't feel as good. It's not as like deep and smooth as some of the other chairs. But then I'm like, okay, is it fair to knock it all the way down to a B just because of that? So that's kind of the only reason, because otherwise I love the seat. I love the backrest. I know, I think Ryan said in the past he didn't like the contour as much. I'll let him speak for himself next. But whereas for me, that's something I like. I like how I kind of feel like I'm cozy again, getting that hug that Greg won't give me. So I like that little bit of contour in the backrest.
If you know what though, if someone commits to more than $2 on that hug, I'll give you that hug today.
And the headrest, I mean, I think we've all agreed this is our S tier headrest. So so much good about it. And again, this is kind of my headrest redemption tour, if we want to call it, where I'm giving a little bump to headrest chairs with headrests that I really like. So it gets up there.
Yeah, I think the whole recline thing is you're trading one thing for another, right? So it's got the multifunction mechanism. In order for you to be able to adjust the seat angle independently of that back angle and have all of those different seating positions that you would have in task-intensive environments, 24/7 dispatch areas, things like that, then you kind of have to have the center tilt recline. So that is going to be the drawback and the plus, right? That might be a plus for you because you have more control over your chair, more adjustability, more ways to kind of configure it to your specific needs. But you are going to be sacrificing, that smooth synchro tilt-like recline. I think that the chair is very, very good. It's kind of like the Freedom chair to me, where every single individual component is really nice. It's just better. So the arms, these could be S-tier arms. The headrest is S-tier. This is arguably the best headrest I've ever used. Same with the arms because of how adjustable they are. You can literally spin them 360. Really big arm cap, super comfortable. And then the adjustability on it is absolutely insane. So that's why I bumped it up to a B+. Just a very well-rounded chair when we look at it compared to all the other chairs that we've kind of added this year and the chairs that I was looking at that were in C tier, like that Atlas chair, like the Tacova, like the E3. This thing is just way better than it, so I had to bump it up to that, B+ area.
Yeah, I mean, I kept it right in the B just because I think – okay. Yeah, I kept it right in that B tier just because, again, I thought it was a solid chair then. I think it's a solid chair now. There's Kent in the office. That's his S tier chair all day. I mean, he's pretty well built. I mean, he's, 6 foot, maybe, about 6 foot. I think he's probably about 240, 230. Sorry, Kent, if I got that wrong, but I would say you're right around probably 230.
We'll give him 6'1".
And I guess he's taller than me, so he's 6'1". And but he loves this chair. I mean, he sits in it all the time. He's got a black one that he keeps at his office, at his desk, and loves the chair. There's nothing about it that he doesn't like, so he recommends it all the time when he's on calls for sales. And the people that get it love it too, so he's obviously onto something. I think it's so different than a lot of the chairs you're going to find like out of the box, even from the big brands, because there's so much you can do to it. I think some people are probably overwhelmed, need to be on the phone with Kent to understand even how it works, but you can really dial it into your kind of unique setup, which is really cool. So
Thankful that all the handles are well marked because there are a lot of adjustments. So luckily you can see right on the top which one's which to get it dialed in how you want it.
I'm going 220, 230, Todd, if you're on here. All right. So we got, wow. We've got the Aeron Classic. Remember, guys, we've got 2 of those in the outlet. We've got some size A's. We stopped selling the Aerons a while back. You guys would still be buying them just as quick as you were buying them before. We know that. People love the Aeron Classic. We've got this really high-quality one here that I think we found on the side of the road that we're still bringing into stream. It is in rough shape right now.
It looks like it has a size C seat.
Yeah.
Is it just a size C in general?
No, it's not gonna. It doesn't do. Nothing works on it, Robert.
Not even the height?
No.
Oh, all right.
Nothing works
It's a
on that chair.
lowrider.
It's in forward tilt always. Okay, and it's low riding.
Low rider.
It's the low rider. And if you've ever seen our refurbished video for the Aeron, I bet this one's all of that nasty inside the seat frame.
Thanks a lot.
So Robert's super stoked about this. I'm going to say on this one, this is an easy. I think what did I do? No, I kept it F tier. I see a C- from Robert, but that throws me off. But Robert is a Aeron Classic guy. F tier all day for me. This is just awful. Why does it say Rob running the mouse?
So
That's the only reason it got bumped up to not be an F tier, because he was running the mouse
okay.
on the tier list, so it didn't get thrown into F tier. But listen, guys, if this was a list, just a straight tier list ranking that incorporated everything, like build quality, longevity, that type of thing, it wouldn't be F tier. It's an Aeron. It lasts forever. These chairs were introduced in like 1992. So the chair that Robert's sitting in right now might be 25 years old, which says a ton, because any other 25-year-old chair that is still lasting is going to look like a chair from 1960 that's just completely all metal, that doesn't adjust, doesn't do anything. So the fact that these chairs do last forever and have this type of longevity is incredible. But from a pure comfort standpoint, this chair is F tier. Like it can't, for me, it can't be anything other than F tier because I don't like anything about the chair. I think the seat is horribly uncomfortable. I do not like the recline because it's very similar to the Habata chair in the opposite direction, where you cannot go fully upright and you cannot go fully reclined without either dialing it completely up or dialing it completely down. So you can only use a fraction of the range all the time. The arm pads, if you get one of the older editions, like you see on the chair that we have here with that sock, it's not comfortable. It's hard urethane. And then the backrest with the lumbar support, I cannot stand it because it just pokes into my back. So I actually prefer to use this chair with no lumbar support at all. Listen, so if you're in love with the Aeron and you want something used and you're fine with it, then okay. But I would highly recommend getting the remaster.
This is why I know that people are still, if we were to sell these, they would still buy them. We just F-tiered it. Brian pops in. He's like, hey, I'm interested in the Aeron. Which size would you recommend?
Yeah.
I'm 5'10", 196 pounds.
Size B.
There you go. There you go. Brian, size B. That's a perfect height for it. Why don't you sell to the European market? Unfortunately, it's just really hard to get our distribution over there. We're here in Wisconsin. It's very difficult to ship stuff, out of the country and have any kind of thing that's going to be favorable on any kind of freight. And the same thing's true when we send stuff up to Canada. Their duties and taxes when we go to Canada are outrageous. When you bring stuff down from Canada, there aren't any. So it's like totally ridiculous if we try to send stuff up into Canada. You guys kind of get gouged. So unfortunately, we can't help out in the European market. My guess is European market probably has issues too, just from the lack of like big high-rise buildings, which is where a lot of the used chairs come from, and the big offices from Cubes in the States here. So that has to be something to do with it. All right, I don't know if I have to say anything other than I already gave it an F tier. I mean, I love the fact that it's just riding so dirty right now. It's just riding dirty. And Robert's just loving it. C- all day. Let's go.
I still feel like, you get a really nice condition one, which it is possible. It's still better than a lot of these other even C-tier chairs because it still has a much better, in my opinion, obviously that we don't all agree, it still has a much better recline than a lot of the other C-tier chairs. And if you fit in it, which like this is a size C, so this makes it even more comfortable for me because I definitely am a size C body type because of my height, then it can be pretty comfortable. But yeah, it's kind of rolling the dice to get one that's in good shape. As we can see, this one has about every problem you could imagine. So
all right, 2 questions just came in. 5'9", 250, what do you recommend? And then the second question,
Size C.
Just in general for a chair.
Yeah, I mean, you can see how low this is.
You can see? Did you do that on purpose?
What's that?
You can see on that size C?
I can see. Yes, yeah, sure.
Sounds good, RC here.
Yeah.
Have
It
a
is
good day,
as
bud.
low as it goes, basically, because the cylinder isn't working on this one. But this is plenty low enough for someone 5'9". I mean, this is way too low for me. And then, you get the benefit of the wider seat and wider backrest. So.
I think, what are you, 5'9", Ryan?
Yep.
You're borderline on that Commander chair, right?
Yeah.
Like you need a footrest probably, but you can use it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, when you're 5'9", you're right on the edge on that Commander chair. That chair is built for people that are like right in, it's edge on 5'9", 5'10's fine up to really tall. But it's really meant for people who are, just honestly, just someone who's going to sit in that chair all the time, needs something of more substance. Like you feel like you get a regular office chair, a task chair, doesn't matter the brand, and it just feels like there's not enough chair there. That's exactly what it is, and you can just sit in it if you want to sit for 24 hours a day. Rock on, man. That's what it is. Let's see.
XYZ, no, they are not going to come to Europe, unfortunately.
Same thing with Chrisu, Colamy. You got the best chair for someone 300-plus pounds with love handles. That's the same thing. That's exactly why that chair is what it is. It's a wider chair. It doesn't have anything restricting on the sides. It's built for people that are going to be able to fit in there comfortably. Of the chairs that are just your standard edition chairs, 300 pounds with love handles, you just are going to be uncomfortable in a lot of the standard chairs because they're just not built to fit properly, and most of these brands don't really have a true plus-size chair. Herman Miller with the Aeron, the size C, that's an option. They discontinued, I think, the Leap Plus, and a lot of people didn't like the Plus because it's way more rigid than it is when you get the regular one. Like, the seat pan does not have flexibility. The backrest is very much upright, and it doesn't have that sort of, I know sometimes you guys give us crap, but like the Russian twist with Ryan, that's obviously he's just over-exaggerating, but like you do want to move. You want to feel some micro movements sometimes, whether it's give in the cushion or it's in the frame. It has none of that. That thing was like a stiff rock. So
like it wasn't like a Leap. That's the problem.
Exactly. It was built to look like one, but it was very different. So just returned your embody pressure points on my butt and the seat length caused bruise in the back. Okay, yeah. There you go. That's a standard size chair. You can see what that's all about. Anyone with the Haag Creed 6006? No. One more question, then we're going to get to the next chair. Ian says, on your site, what makes casters different, soft, hard floor? I have bamboo floors. Yeah, so the soft floor casters, so a hard floor caster is designed for hard surfaces like bamboo. They've got like a polyurethane wrap that makes them softer on the caster. The other caster for soft floors is just a hard plastic because you wouldn't need to pay a little bit more to get that caster to roll on carpet. They're going to be universal for the universal caster, whether it's hard surface or it's a soft surface, is going to be your hard surface caster because it will work on both, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'll try again. All right, next chair up, guys. What's up? We got, it's a gem right now. I can't believe I didn't pay attention. IKEA Marcus, guys.
Let's roll through this one quickly so I can go on to another chair, please.
No, we want to have you sit there with that awesome lumbar support and some weird position in your back right now, Robert.
Yeah.
Hey, Panos, I would reach out to Herman Miller on that. We don't want to speak for Herman Miller on what voids their warranty. I would just shoot them a message. They're really responsive on their chat. You could just shoot them a chat.
All right, so we got a IKEA Marcus. I just returned, my Soji chair because I really wanted to go back to my Marcus. Said only one person ever in the comments section. This chair for me, I have been on a redemption ride for tier list, guys. There's a lot of stuff I F-tiered in the past, and that I brought it back to like a D-D, Secret Lab Titans, one of those chairs. This is not one. I'm F-tier on this all day. It has not changed. I remain the same. Ryan did change his, and it looks like Rob changed his as well. So why don't you tell us what that little look was in your face there as you...
I was really ever at a D, to be honest, because for me it's that lumbar support, if that's what you want to call it. To me, it just feels like a little bar that's going across my back. Maybe for some people it hits in the right spot, but for me, it definitely not. It's not even that it's like a hard thing. Like you could see it's got some padding, but whatever it is, it just feels like feels like I rolled up a towel and just stuck it at a place in my back, which is not where I want it to be. So that's really uncomfortable, and then the arms are just really bad. I mean, you can't adjust them at all, and as I've said before, I love to fine-tune exactly where my arms are so that it fits on my desk. This would be like too high for me. It's just, those are some kind of major deal-breaker problems that puts it in F.
Yeah, I went from a D to a D minus for the sole purpose that you can maybe sit in this chair. It's not completely unsittable for me, just because the seat is padded. And to be honest, the only thing that I actually like about this chair is the recline. I think it's got a really good recline, especially for the price. It's like a budget Aeron recline because it has kind of like that synchro tilt mixed with the knee tilt type of recline. But other than that, the chair is hot garbage, and that's why it's an F tier chair. It's D minus F, whatever you want to call it. If you're looking for something in this price range, I would recommend a lot of other chairs. If you are really dedicated to IKEA, then I can see it. Like, there's no video that I've ever made and got flamed more than when I made the IKEA video and told people not to buy this chair because shopping at IKEA is a brutally horrible experience and you have to go to it. And if you don't go there, they're going to charge you like $300 to ship it one state away. And so my whole point in the video was, don't buy an IKEA chair because you either have to go there and pick it up yourself, or you have to pay these exorbitant shipping fees to get a D or an F tier chair, and you can get a way better experience by just going to Amazon because they're going to deliver it right to your house. You can return it right from your porch instead of having to drive it back to IKEA, and you're going to get a better chair. People flamed me in that video. I still get comments because people in Europe that like IKEA love IKEA to the point of like they hate me from that video. But I'm just telling the truth about the chair and the shopping experience. It's brutal, and it's much better to just go to Amazon and get something like the Tacova or the Atlas instead of this.
Zero Dune just traded up his Embody for that IKEA after he saw how good Robert looks in that thing.
That
so
recline,
that
recline will get you every time.
that's what it's all about right there, guys. All right. All right, I'm just going to hit you up quick on this, too. So if you have an IKEA chair you want to upgrade, we've got 20% off on all of our outlet chairs. We've got Lamias. I don't think we have Amips anymore, but we definitely have the Amias, Leaps, Lamias. We've got some other chairs like Ergohuman Gen 2s in there still, and then some petite chairs if you are smaller. Those are going to be a good option as well. Everything is 20% off the price that's in the outlet, which brings stuff down like up to like 40% off the retail prices. So make sure you guys, make sure you guys are claiming up those coupons, dropping that in there and grabbing these things up for super cheap. Right now you can get a Leap chair that's a fully refurbished Leap from us for $443 shipped for free. That's crazy. The Amia's $369. You can also pick up a Lamia right now for $559, which is like 34% off. That's insane. So if you guys want to scoop those up, otherwise, we also looks like we got some stuff like cable management boxes. We got a couple of those left in there too. So if you guys want to tidy up those cables, we got a good discount on that stuff. It is outlet 20, and then when you guys place an order for anything on BTOD right now, you guys make sure you're putting in for that free gift. You get the T-shirt over $300, over $500. You get the sweatshirt. These are gaming chairs, sucks. Over $800, it's a sweatshirt and one of these mugs. But, guys, if you want the T-shirt instead of the mug, then just say you want the T-shirt in there instead of the mug. Just put it in the comments section. Just let us know your size so we can get it right. What do you guys think about the Andaseat Kaiser? You never talk about, is it in the same spot as the Titan Evo?
Yeah, the same spot. Don't buy it. It's in that do not buy section. You're spending $500 to $600 on a D or an F tier chair. Honestly, if you really want a gaming chair and you're in that price range, get that Fractal Refine. Start with that. That would be my recommendation. Start with that. If you don't like that one, then move on from there. But that's going to be your best starting point for a gaming chair in that price range.
I'm going to say, too, on the Fractal Refine chair, regardless of what, our opinions on it compared to, like, some of the chairs that we sit in every day, that thing is a great value for that price point on that chair with all that it has going on it. I've had the opportunity to speak with them on the chair, and that's a crazy deal. I mean, we are on, like, razor-thin margins when we're looking at something built like that, shipped for free. It's pretty wild, really, to think where they're at on that price point. So you're definitely getting a lot of value. All right. Anybody eating lunch yet? I'm starting to feel a little hungry here. We got a lot of chairs left in here. We're gonna have to speed this thing up a little bit, otherwise we're gonna be here until 9 p.m. Okay.
We're halfway through the list, and we got 2 hours left.
Well, we got X Chair X3. This is a new one to the list, guys, and it's got heated massage, right? Heated massage. Elemax, I think that's what they call it.
Ooh, just shocked me.
Oh, you just got shocked by it. That's not it. It's you. Is there a fan on there too?
Oh yeah.
Game changer. So if you got a lot of lower back sweat, no more.
If you got a lot of upper back sweat, no more.
No more.
There's no more back sweat with this one.
This is an anti-back sweater chair, guys. So here's the deal.
For those of you that come to our chat and say, I could never sit in a leather chair because I'd be dripping in sweat in my chair, this would be for you. If you have excessive sweating problems to the point of ruining your chair because they're drenched, then you need this fan.
All right, here we go. So what do we rank it? We got a B tier on this one, guys. This is a solid B from all of us. It is. What's happening?
Well, I was trying to test if it could blow the piece of paper.
No, it's more like, honestly, it feels really close to my car. Like, it's not like blowing out, but it just like makes it nice and cool.
'Cause, yeah,
like,
you can feel
it. Works really well. It's my favorite feature on the chair, is honestly. Like, I was kind of joking about it, but I was the one that wrote the review on this chair. I tested it. I used it a good chunk, and I was really, really high on it when it first came in because it's so much better than the previous X chair that we had. The previous X chair that we had F-tiered, D-tiered. It was somewhere around D or F-tier because it was, I mean, the X2 Case Sport, I think is what it's called. It's pretty brutal. Don't buy that one. But the X3 is a massive improvement to that one. Because it was such a massive improvement, I was like, oh my God, this is like A or S tier. After I used it for a while, I kind of settled down on B. There are some things that aren't perfect. You know, I do wish that the seat was a little bit less accentuated on the sides. The armrests could be improved. They're not super comfortable, and they don't have the best adjustment. But I do really like the back support. I think the headrest is really good. I like the material that they used on the chair. I think it is kind of elastic, but it also has that kind of fabric feel, so I like that. And then I really like the fan because it actually does like keep you nice and cool. Like I'm one of those guys that when I'm in my car, even right now it's like 0 degrees out where we live, I'll still put on my cooling seat because my wife is on this half of the car like blasting it at 80 degrees. So then I'm on my half with my seat cooler. This fan in this one does the same thing. It is really good.
And your temp in your side of the car is rolling at like 60. It's the lowest it goes. But it doesn't matter. That 85 is overpowering this half of your face. Yeah.
He's not exaggerating when he says it's 0 degrees out. It's like literally 0 degrees outside.
Today's a balmy one, though. I think we're getting to 27. We've been
Really?
highs of like negative for a while.
Not yesterday.
All right, so here's the deal on this chair. Like Ryan said, he pretty much summed it up as exactly what it is. This is like if you got an Ergo Human, but it wasn't quite as nice, basically, when it comes to the Gen 2 chair. I would say this is closer to your original version of a Gen 1 because it really, truly is. And those arms, they do have an upgrade arm. I think the problem is that they just charge so much for some of those add-ons. It's like the arm package is like $175 for arms, which we would just never even entertain because how many people are really doing that to upgrade these arms on a chair that's already a G?
Well, even to add the massager and the cooling fan is $150. The only reason that we have it is because I waited, and then they had a promotion where they were selling this chair for 25% off, plus you got the heat and the cooling for free. And so I got a ridiculous deal on this chair. But yeah, otherwise, this becomes a very expensive chair when you add all the things onto it. And that's where it kind of becomes a problem because then you're into the territory where it's like, well, do I just get the brand new Ergo Human Extreme or the brand new Gen 2? Or do I just go up even a little bit more and get like a Leap? You know what I mean? Because now you're close to getting like a Leap or a Gesture once you get this thing fully spec'd out. So huge improvement to the X2, K2 Sport, whatever. And it has that unique feature in there that, I mean, how many chairs have the cooling feature or the massage, whatever, you know?
Massage, it just feels like...
It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, if you put it on the low mode, I didn't feel anything.
Right,
I
nothing.
could just hear it.
Right.
If I put it on the higher mode, now I feel like a tiny bit of vibration.
Yeah, it's just like this.
Yeah, it's almost like my phone's in my back pocket with the vibrate on or something because it's like just a tiny bit.
Yeah, the massage doesn't do anything.
When you
That's
get a
what I
message and it vibrates, you know,
Okay.
that's like kind of what it felt like.
All right.
It's weird because it has 3 functions. One function, the heat, I don't think that very many people are going to be using the heat. Because, I mean, the people that are going to be using the heat, you know, I'm a mansplainer here, but it's typically going to be women based on the experience in our office. They're the ones that are always cold, and we're always the ones that are warm. And then the massager doesn't do anything, so no one's ever going to use the massager. So you're paying $150 for that cooling, which...
Yeah, this seat doesn't go very low either. So if you're shorter...
So, ladies, if you're as long as you're 6'4", right, you're gonna love that chair.
I don't know about that. But
All right, maybe.
yeah,
It's
5'6".
not for short, for
It's
sure.
pretty tall. Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to move on to the next one. It looks like Ohio Bob brought his wife to a Green Bay Packer game several years ago. I apologize that you had to go there for that. You thought it would be cool. It was 85 degrees. She nearly had a heat stroke.
What?
Was it
That was the opposite of what you were going to say.
Was it the cheese curds, though, and excessive amounts of, I don't know, can I say it, Miller Lite?
I thought that it was going to be like -20 and you were in the tundra and she couldn't handle it because you guys didn't dress for the weather.
Yeah, 85. I think I was there
You
for that
threw out
one.
like the best conditions to watch a football game and then said that she couldn't handle it. That caught me off guard.
All right, so next up we got the
No,
I ate the cheese curds. Well, there you go. All right, so here we go. We got the Sail chair. Herman Miller Sail. This is one of those chairs which
Wouldn't rank highly on the value list. That's where we'll start off.
Yeah, and the thing about it is it's really not ranking that high on the comfort list either, with the exception of maybe Ryan gives it a little boost. But I'm giving this chair a C tier pretty much all day. For me personally, I think it's just okay. And again, like Ryan said, from a value perspective, that really comes into play because you're going to be spending. They've increased these prices on these chairs a bunch of times since we've brought them in. This is another one of those chairs. Is it over $1,000 now?
It's $1,000 chair.
Yeah.
I mean,
so if you're going to compare it to like an Amiya, I don't think.
Zodi?
I don't think so. So the backrest, too short for me. I really can't. If I lean back into it, I feel the upper part hitting in my shoulder blades. The seat pad's decent. The arm pads feel a little cheap to me. They're comfy, but they're cheap. They kind of wobble around. They just don't feel like there's enough substance there. It really doesn't feel like there's an Aeron experience that you get, right? There's an Embody experience you get. There's a Mira experience you get. Then there's this. And so I think it's a tier below it. I'm going to just say C tier, and I didn't change my pick.
Yeah, I actually think that I'm like 2 tiers below those. Like, I think this is a huge downgrade to the Aeron, Embody, Leap, Gesture, Fern. And then even when you get on the same price tier as the other majors, so the majors are going to be Herman Miller, Steelcase, and Hayworth. When you get on the same price point, you can get the Sail from Herman Miller, or you can get the Zodi from Hayworth, or the Amiya from Steelcase. Now, the Zodi from Hayworth was their flagship chair. It still is their most popular, most sold chair. The thing is a very, very good chair. So for $1,000, you're getting a chair that's like twice as good when it comes to quality, way more adjustments, much more comfortable, and it's going to fit a much wider range of people. These guys, the reason that they had to knock it down is because it doesn't fit them. This chair is small. It's like what we talked about earlier with the Series 1, the Breck from Hayworth. They're all going to be small chairs, and this is Hayworth's entry level chair. Their entry level chair is $1,000. It's pretty wild, but it's expensive. And when I rank it as a B tier, simply because it fits me, and I do think that it does some things pretty well. But when I'm spending $1,000 on a chair and I'm getting to that $1,000 plus price point, I want an A tier chair. That's it. I want an A tier chair. And so when you can get a Zodi and a Mia, a Leap for a couple $100 more, you can get an Aeron for a few $100 more depending on how you spec it. So I think the sale is in a weird spot. I think if it was $700, it would be recommended in almost every video that we make. But once you get it up to that $1,000 price point, it's very, very tough to justify this chair.
Robert, you've been monkeying around with that chair. What's going on over there?
I just forgot where the seat slider was, but yeah, it's really like you said, for my height, I just hit these top part of the backrest is really firm up there. For me, that has to just drop it down. I mean, it's still C because I like the seat. The arms aren't terrible. There's things that are okay about it to keep it in C, but yeah, and it's definitely a fit issue. Someone shorter is going to fit better. But yeah, that value is just not there, unfortunately. It almost looks smaller than it is, than it fits, because that seat depth does get it out where the seat's not as much of a problem. It's mostly that backrest, just too short.
Speaking of cold, is the heat on in this room?
I think it's down pretty low. You chilly?
Where are we at right now? It's feeling a little chilly, I guess maybe just because I'm sitting here.
You want the X3 that has the heater?
67, huh? That's pretty chilly. That's a little chilly. Why don't we go bump it to 68? Yeah, we need a little bit. Yep. There it is. 68 is going to be a game changer here. All right, so that's it for the Herman Miller sale. Robert, you look like Dennis Rodman in a Fiat 500, so that's a good fit for you. I'll be damned. You really live now? Here we are, live as ever, replying to your comments. You guys should find some big retailer to take a shipment of your BTOD Lamia chairs in EU. Not a bad idea. Let's see. Can you get Roberta next time to show off some chairs? We need diversity in this show. Maybe.
Well, what chair? We got Frances. If you want to see Frances sit in a chair, I think she's willing.
All right, guys, don't forget, and it looks like that thing just changed up there, 20% off that outlet stuff. So if you guys want to pick up like a BTOD Leap, if you want to pick up an Amiya, we've got Lamias in there. You guys are saving 20 additional % off what's already the discounted price. So you're literally down like 30 to 40% off of our normal sale prices on chairs. We're talking $469 for a Leap, right? No, $443. It's even lower for a Leap. $369 for an Amiya. We've got the Lamias at $559. That's crazy. Guys, it feels like we turned the heat on and now it's blowing cold air on me. I feel like I'm colder than I was before. I need that X3 chair. How you doing? I got a floor chair and fixed floor desk. You guys, some of the comments coming in here. All right, next up, Herman Miller Embody Gaming. I mean, this thing is like, this is the one, right? Like, everybody loves this chair. Well, except for me. I still think it's a really good chair. Just not quite to my Lamia standard. However, you know, this is definitely S tier for a lot of people, for sure. I know it's been picked by Ryan forever that he's had this one as an S tier chair. He's not here to speak for himself, but I'll speak for him. And Robert, you've been consistently on the S tier with this as well. I'm going A tier on this one, and there's really just the biggest reason for me to drop this one down personally is that backrest. I like to have good lumbar support, and I like to have good back support. And with this chair, I have to pivot that back away from me, which reduces the lumbar, and then it also doesn't give me that upper support. If I don't do it that way, it rolls my shoulders forward, and it's not as comfortable. So that's exactly what it is. Zero Dune's sitting in one right now, too. All right, Robert, what do you got on this?
Yeah, I mean, I have kind of a similar problem with the backrest, feeling like it pushes my shoulders a little bit, but I just dial back that seat, the back angle. This is forward, so now if I bring it back a bit, it relieves that pressure on my shoulders, and yeah, it does feel like a diminished lumbar, but for me, it's still enough. I still feel plenty there, so just love the seat. It's like nice and wide. It even lets you move around a little bit. The arms pads are really big. They don't have the crazy adjustment like with the pads, but yet they're big enough that they stay in the place or that your arms can easily fit in the place you want them to be. Huge range there.
650 Dune, you don't have that issue. Come on now. You must have just a different build in your shoulders. I'm pretty jacked, so obviously I'm pretty jacked. That's why it doesn't fit me. But I'm 6 foot. Craig, you want to know if this place is haunted. Taylor thinks it's haunted. What is going on? Unbelievable. And on Zero Dune, you're going to hate so hard because I A-tiered it instead of F-tier. I'm an F-tier now. Unbelievable. Shaxologist, what do you think of the FlexiSpot C7 ergonomic chair? I don't even think it's on the list. I don't think we included that one this time.
Do we have that one?
I'm surprised there's not someone from FlexiSpot in here right now pumping that thing up. Should be pumping those tires. They're everywhere doing what they're doing.
They are.
They are definitely AstroTurf specialists. So if you know, oh, got a message retracted. Maybe that was you. Are you in here as FlexiSpot?
This is probably my favorite feature here, though, is that recline. Sorry to interrupt your FlexiSpot tirade. But this just sitting back like this, nice and deep recline, very similar to the Aeron. This is what bumps it into S and makes me forget about maybe a little bit of a problem with the backrest. Oh, yeah.
I will need an ergonomic chair to take the strain off my 30-hour weekly job standing for 11-hour shifts at a time. So that's less than 2 days or 3 days? It's 3 days? Working 3 days, 11-hour shifts? Is that what I'm seeing there? At FlexiSpot? They got you working. That's a long time they got you working there. Did you guys know my only shoulders, but luckily I have wider shoulders. Oh, interesting. So if it's right between them, let's go. All right. We got some people leaving for lunch. 2 days. There you go. Got it. Looking up that C7 right now.
Oh, this is like the first FlexiSpot chair that we had. Yeah. I mean, yeah. In typical FlexiSpot fashion, I would not recommend their chairs. I think there's better options. I think FlexiSpot is much better at their desks. Would be my opinion. Yeah, it's the same chair that we got in here the first time, but now it's got a footrest possible to add. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Welcome in from Greece. What's up? All right. Was I the only one having upper hip pain after sitting for 1+ hours in the remastered Aeron? Interesting question. Upper hip pain. What do you think that would be? I'm not a doctor, so
idea.
I can't really speak on it.
I don't know. Might just be your body adjusting to a new posture. A lot of times, whenever you switch to a new chair, you're going to have some type of discomfort and adjusting period for, a week to 3-4 weeks when you're adjusting to a new chair. I went through that when I got into the Leap. So when we started reviewing these super high-end chairs years and years ago, I remember the first time that I ever sat in a Leap chair, I had a really hard time sitting in it. Like the first day that I sat in it, I wanted to give up on it. I literally was to the point of I can't keep sitting in these chairs with these firm seat pads, blah, 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 blah. At the time, I was sitting in a Nightingale CXO, really thick seat pad, memory foam style seat. So the transition to a firmer seat pad on these ergonomic chairs was a tough one for me. But I stuck it out. I just sat in the chair. I was like, I'm just going to do it until I adjust. And it took me like 2-3 weeks before I finally adjusted to that Leap. And it's been my #1 chair ever since. So I do think that most people, especially if you're going from a non-ergonomic chair to a true ergonomic chair, you're going to experience some type of, pain and discomfort while your body adjusts and acclimates to it. But I do think it's for the good. And eventually you'll be in a good spot.
And you had some pretty serious back issues. I mean, we documented that in a video, but you had some pretty serious back issues from sitting in that really soft seat, CXO. Which, I mean, you sat in that thing forever. And so to transition then into the Leap chair and see your body kind of having to adapt to that was kind of crazy. But long term, you haven't had that issue with your back since.
I used to have lower back issues all the time. Like literally my back would just go out. Like I threw my back out 3 times in a 6 or 7 year period. Since switching to that, and I know this is going to sound almost too good to be true infomercially type, but ever since I've switched to the Leap, I've not had any of those issues. I've not even felt like I've been close to throwing my back out, and it's just because my posture is better all day. When you work all day at an office and you're sitting in the same chair for 10 hours a day, even though it feels comfortable, it feels comfortable on your butt, your back feels comfortable, it's not firm, it's not being pressed against something that it's hard, it feels soft, it feels nice. That doesn't always mean that it's good for your long-term comfort, your long-term health, right? At that moment when I'm sitting in the chair, it feels comfortable. But when I stand up and I start doing things like lifting up a trailer hitch or something like that, then all of a sudden it's oh, my back feels weird. My back feels funky. It's because I've been in this awkward position for 10 hours for 10 years.
Zero Dune. He says you look younger too.
Nice.
So, yeah, I mean, it's changed his life, obviously. But no, it's true, man. When you get in the right chair, it is going to change. It's going to change a lot for you. And obviously, having debilitating back issues is awful. And a lot of times, we're forced to be in a chair, depending on your job. But, I mean, a lot of us are using these chairs after work hours as well, especially people in our audience. So whether you're hanging out at the computer, just browsing, doing whatever, working from home, gaming, watching content, whatever it is, if you're in there a really long time, that's going to have a major impact. So do the McGill Big 3. You won't I don't sometimes. I don't know, Jaxologist. I had big lower back pain on the Vertigear PL 6000 gaming chair, and then I got the Embody, and the pain went away in 2 days. Never had that issue again. Yeah. Haven't heard the name Vertigear in a long time. That brand doesn't seem to be one of the ones that pops up much anymore. So.
Yeah, I haven't either. I would have to go to their website to even see what they're doing. When their chairs first came out, they were in a good spot. They had better chairs than most of the chairs on the market, but.
Zero Dune, what I already have at home. I have a Steelcase Leap. Come on now. Have you been through the Aeron Remastered? No, we haven't yet, but we're about to hit, what are we on right now? Beta Cure chair. Well, let's go. This is self-promotion, so we got to really bump this one up. I'm going to go S tier. Done.
It's a good spot.
Yeah, just wrap it up. Drop that link. Drop that link in the chat. Make sure everybody knows this is S-tier chair, guys. Buy this one, changes your life. Guaranteed. So just scoop that thing up, S-tier. Actually, it looks like at further review, it does appear that we have scored this one a B, and we did move up all of our rankings off the previous one because we now are with the leather seat mesh back combo, and it did change it quite a bit actually from just the way that seat pad feels, because it is a thicker seat pad. This is a bigger chair though, just to like, if you go on the e-commerce site, if you go on the btod.com, look at our little chair guides that we have on there for fitment. You're going to see that this one is scaled up for people that are like 6'7", I think is what we have it on there, because it is a tall chair, very big backrest. It's wider. But for me, I moved it up, and it got it with an average of B now. And again, the biggest difference for me is just in that seat pad. So, but you got to make sure you fit on this one. Fit is super important. Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, the whole fit issue is why I've always had this in C tier, just because it's a little bit big for me. It's a little bit wide. The armrests are a little bit wide. The seat back, everything on it just feels a little bit too wide, a little bit too tall. I will say that I'm right there with you guys in that the leather seat is a big improvement to that standard fabric seat. So the biggest draw to this chair typically is the seat, because this is one of the few ergonomic chairs that actually has a softer seat, and it's pretty thick compared to most chairs. So it provides a sitting experience that the other ergonomic chairs don't, just because most ergonomic chairs are going to have like 2, maybe 3 inches of foam, and they're designed to be firm. That's one of the big requisites of an ergonomic chair. The Aeron doesn't necessarily have that, and so it gives you that instant comfort, like I was just talking about with the CXO, but it does compress and it will bottom out over time, and you can deal with some of those issues with, a thick padded seat. You get kind of the best of the best with that leather chair, because you get that thick padded seat, but the leather holds the foam up better. I don't know what it is, but it just does not allow the foam to compress all the way down like the fabric version does, and so it holds its shape much better. So instead of just compressing the foam all the way down and feeling like you're bottoming it out after like 4 or 5 hours, it holds its shape for the entire 8-hour time that you're in there. And so for me, it's a lot more supportive. So I do think that a rating of like a B tier is very fair for this chair. It's going to be around that $500-$600 price point, depending on how you spec it. So very, very competitive in that price range, because it's going to have good comfort, good adjustments. You get a good warranty. It's got a good build quality. I would just tend to lean towards, if you're typically, women aren't going to be great in this chair. If you're petite, you're not going to be great in this chair. If you're like 5'8" under, it might be kind of borderline. But this is one of those chairs where it's almost like a big and tall chair, but without the big and tall connotation to it. It's almost like a tall chair, if that makes sense. Not the big part of it, but like the tall part of it, because it's going to work really well for tall people. But it's not going to have like a 350, 400-pound weight rating. So what do you think, Robert?
Yeah, I mean, kind of echoing that, it's just a lot of big improvements with the leather seat for sure. Another thing that I don't think you touched on is it's nice to not have if you see the regular mesh seat has kind of what do we call this, with the mesh over the pad where, dust and dirt can kind of get inside there, which it's not that hard to vacuum it out. We've shown that in videos. It's actually quite easy, but you just have to do it once in a while. Whereas with a leather seat, well, you're not going to have that at all. It's just easier to clean, keep up if you like to eat at your desk or whatever. Another thing that's nice is the headrest. I do really like it. The mesh headrest, you kind of sink into it kind of the right amount without really ever feeling like you're hitting the frame. So, and the backrest, I think that's what lends to this being more of the fit for a big and tall, is it's really wide. They kind of copied the Aeron shape. You can tell it kind of flares out on the top, but it's like my shoulders have no problem hitting the frame or anything like that. So it does lend again to that taller body shape. So lumbar is there. I wouldn't say it's like the most super strong lumbar, because it has that pad. So it's definitely, there's some support there. Wouldn't necessarily buy this if you're like wanting massive lumbar support.
No, it's not going to have massive lumbar support, but one good thing is that it does have the pad, so it's not pokey.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like jabbing into your back and being uncomfortable that way. But yeah, just the natural shape of the back with the lumbar support, it is going to lend towards people that like lighter lumbar support.
Yeah.
So, like, I actually like the back support on that one, just because I don't love a ton of pronounced lumbar support on mine. All right.
Nice.
Moving on to the next one, which is a gem on the list.
Oh boy.
We've got one of our faves here. So the next chair that we're going to bring out is one of the most popular chairs on Amazon, which means it's got to be one of the most popular chairs in the world. Somehow this chair maintains like over a 4-star rating. I do not know how it's possible. I question the validity of the reviews on the Amazon product listing for this page, just because this is one of those chairs where I pulled it from the depths of F tier solely because you can sit in it. But I would never recommend this chair to anyone. So this is a Sihu M18. Even though it's usually priced at around, $125 to $150, I do not think it's worth that price. I don't know. I would probably just rather sit in like a standard leather chair with no adjustments from Office Max or Office Depot than this. The seat is, for me, an instant deal breaker. There's no range of movement on the seat at all. The foam is rock hard. The pan is rock hard. There's no give to the cylinder. When you sit down on the seat, you plop down onto it. It is one of the most rigid, firm experiences I've ever had, right there with the Secret Lab Titan Evo. It is really, really rigid. And then the armrests, they kind of ruin it for me as well, because they have this like almost concave shape to them. So you can only really use the arms if you have them straight forward. Otherwise, you're going over like the edge. It feels weird. Yeah, I have a really, really hard time with this chair. I have no idea how it has such good reviews, but
Lumpy to me almost. I don't know how to describe it. I think it's because it has like this, it has a little bit of that push in it, but it almost, I mean, we have seen that before, that sometimes the foam is not a consistent, not texture, what's the word I want, consistency throughout. I don't know if that's what's happening or if it's...
You're saying that's not high quality?
I mean, it does have contour, so maybe it's if you're not sitting in the right spot, it'll feel like it's lumpy in different spots. I don't know if you can see.
I feel
that.
like
There's
when
a
you
bump
sit on
here.
that chair, it feels like a brick all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just very brick-like. It's like if you put... It challenges the Titan for the hardest seat that you've ever sat on, ever. And I'm just blown away by, like, somehow it has, like, 40,000 reviews on Amazon. It's a 4.9 out of 5. It's the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. I honestly can't. I don't trust those reviews at all. There's no way this chair has a 4.8 rating or something like that.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I mean, the arms, I don't even think we touched on that. They have the dip in them, which, a lot of arm pads we've seen, like the Anthros or something, they actually have, if anything, they bump up and then they push down a little bit when you sit in them or when you push your arm in it. This is like the opposite. It dips down in the middle to force your arm into this spot. And, you're not going to always have your arms straight forward. So if you do this, it's really uncomfortable. So you got to just sit perfectly with your arms straight, and then it's not as bad. But nobody's doing this.
I mean, this is the issue, though, with reviews on Amazon. And it's why we get a lot of comments on our videos. This chair has a 4.6-star review. How can you rate it F tier? And it's like, because all those reviews are fake. I mean, you go to Amazon, and you're going to find the Embody. It's got like a 4.1 star, 3.9 star when they were selling it on there. Leap chairs with like a 4.2 star rating, and then all of a sudden this garbage tier chair that should be in a tier lower than F tier is somehow over a 4.5 star rating with tens of thousands of reviews. It's why you can't trust reviews on Amazon, is because you see stuff like this. Like, this chair is absolutely brutal, and there's no way that real people that have used this thing love it that much. Like, I'd love to see the return rate on this thing. This thing has to get returned all the time. It has to get returned all the time. If people are leaving comments in our videos about the Tacova, like, because we promote the Tacova all the time, and so we get a lot of those negative comments of people that get the Tacova and they don't like it. It's not going to be right for everyone. That has to be happening 10 times as much on this Sihu chair, and yet somehow it maintains the best review score of all time, and I don't know.
So the updated review, the updated review count is 4.4 out of 5 now. So it's come down some. But it's 12,753 reviews. A share should be probably around a 3 or a 2.5. Real talk. Just because the seat and the arms are terrible. The back is not great. So, all right. So we garbage tiered that one, but it's truly in an F. This was on the road to redemption. I didn't change it. So when I rode to redemption chairs, this one never made that cut.
Yeah.
Robert, you at one point gave it a D.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Why would you give that chair a D?
probably the only reason would be because I decided I'd rather sit in my kitchen chair, which is a F. So I'm like, but then, yeah,
That doesn't make sense either.
you're right. That's why I just realized. I don't know. That was a mistake. I apologize. It should be F.
All right, we're bringing out the chair of chairs. The best value of seating is coming out right now. All right, here it is, and this is actually a chair that I think is S tier for me personally. This is the Steelcase Amiya. This is one of those chairs that is in the outlet, so if you guys are looking to get a crazy deal right now, again, you can use the coupon codes. I know we've got a few of them in some different colors. We've got the black one, the blue, we've got a red, we've got one red one, and we've got two blue ones. They are, let's see, $369. This thing retails for $1,000 right now on Steelcase. In my opinion, it punches way above the weight when it comes to just build on this chair from a $1,000 standpoint. But for a comfort, I honestly don't think you can go wrong on this chair. It's got the best arms in the business, short of maybe gesture. Like I said, the seat pad for this one is S tier all day. I love the backrest. It fits me. Maybe if you're 6'3", I could see it being a problem. You're going to lose out on that option for that back tilt limiter, which for me, it's okay. I'm fine just cranking up the tension. But this one, I know I'm the only one here in this group that S tiers this chair, but I have it in an S tier. Overall, we're at an A. It doesn't look like anybody's changed. This one's been pretty much rock solid where it is.
Yeah, I mean, this chair just kind of is what it is. It's a workhorse chair. Does everything well, comfort-wise, adjustment-wise. Biggest drawback is just going to be its looks. It doesn't have the flashy look of most $1,000 chairs, but from a performance standpoint, this thing is almost unbeatable. I mean, you have to go up to $1,500 chairs to beat it, and a lot of those aren't going to beat it either. Someone asked about the headrest. I guess that could arguably be one of the biggest downsides. It doesn't have a headrest. If you want a Steelcase chair with a headrest, go with that gesture. But the Amiya is not gonna have that headrest. But I think this is easy A tier. A tier across the board. Seat, back, arms, everything. Build quality. It's arguably one of the best values in ergonomic seating if you're looking at new chairs. If you want a new chair, this and the Zodi for me are going to probably be right there as the best value, along with the Leap.
$0, Zero Dune. I know it's tough to think, but I got $0 on that one and the Embody too. Hey, look, it was A tier on the Embody. This is S tier for me. It's all about fit personally. But, I mean, you get two of these for the price of one Embody. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? Someone asked, I got to make sure we catch this here. 2 questions, guys. Hey, have you ever heard of the Work Pro Momentum? If so, is a good chair. Also, would you recommend the Fern or an Embody for someone who's 5'3" and under? 5'3" and under, you're like right on the edge. The Fern, I think, is going to be a little bit too big. I think the Embody gets down low enough for you. We had my wife who's 5'2", she sat in that, and I don't think, I can't remember if the Embody was, she at 5'2", her legs, it couldn't get the seat kind of tucked in far enough on the Embody. So they're really close. That's a personal preference thing. That's where you're going to have to take advantage of that return policy for sure. And then the Work Pro Momentum, I have to look that one up. I think that's something that, those are the chairs that look very similar to like Ergo Human, but they're the scaled back version, I'm pretty sure. So I think it's going to be like the Gen 1 Ergo Human, it's just not going to be as nice as that Gen 2. It doesn't have the independent back angle. Well, I think the hardest problem is that Work Pro ergonomic chair mesh active is like 465 chairs in their offering. This one's $299, and it's not what I thought it was.
It depends on which one you get. The Work Pro line is very extensive.
Yeah.
Some are very, very bad, and they do have a couple that are pretty good. So I think like the Work Pro 9000, I think that one is like a knocked down version of the Ergo Human. That one's pretty decent because it's usually like $500. You're not getting all the adjustments of the Ergo Human, but you're getting some of the same materials. So that can be a pretty good value, but then some of them are just going to be, your run-of-the-mill $200-300 chairs that you'd probably want to pass on. Xologist, all the things that you're looking for, I'd probably just grab the Aeron Remastered. If you're looking for the best mesh chair with the least amount of assembly and the best of the best of the best, then just go with the Aeron Remastered. There is no assembly. You're getting the best mesh in the world, the best recline in the world. It's arguably the best arms. It's the Aeron Remastered. If you're looking for the best of the best of the best, just grab that and start from there. If that doesn't work for you, then I would return it. You got free returns, and I would move to the next option.
Also, guys, we'll drop a link in here. I don't know if there's a link in the description where you guys can get this full tier list guide where we've got all of the chairs that we've ranked over the past few years in that guide with just overall ranks. So you can see exactly where all of these chairs are, plus like, I don't know, maybe 30 more chairs in there. All you have to do is just put your email address in there, and then we kick it out via email. So if you want to, maybe Taylor can drop that in the stream here, and so anybody who wants that can grab it. Checksologist, I think that's a good place for you to go if you're looking to see just overall list and where stuff's ranking. Let's see, Robert, what was your take? Did you give your take? If it wasn't S tier, I don't. If it wasn't S tier, I think we probably skip.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite there. I just like the Leap backrest a little more, and I like the extra lumbar support you get from the Leap. Yeah, if you give this a headrest, that would bump it up, kind of like the Gesture got a little boost because of it. I'm sitting like this because we were talking about the Aeron. That is the nice thing about these padded chairs. You can kind of sit in some of these different ways that you wouldn't want to do in the Aeron. So it's definitely a benefit of the larger padding. Not that this is ergonomic, but let's just be honest, we all sometimes sit unergonomic. So, yeah.
All right, don't forget, guys, when you grab those up in the outlet, use outlet 20 on the coupon code, because there is about, I think there was 6 in there for you guys to pick up in the different colors, and then use the outlet 20 at checkout, and you get them down to like $369 right now. But you also want to make sure you drop your shirt size in there, because that's going to qualify you for a sweatshirt, I believe. No, sorry, not enough. It's going to be a T-shirt. So just like Robert's wearing, you can get the T-shirt. Just got to drop your size. All right, next up, Branch Ergo Pro. This is a brand new chair. I don't know if anybody's been excited about this one like Robert was, but Robert was over the moon on this chair when he ordered it. He ordered it and then let us know that he ordered it after he ordered it. He was so excited. He can't remember that story, but I do.
He's excited because we've been so disappointed with the Branch offering. Let's be honest. Like the Branch ergonomic chair, which is their most popular chair, it's like $349 is not a good chair. Like there's no reason to get that chair. Like we always say, you might as well get their least expensive chair, the Task chair. It's $199 and it's more comfortable, has better, it's just more comfortable and you're spending less money. And so we've always been like, Branch is tough to talk about because we don't love their chairs. And so when they came out with a new chair that looked like they fixed some things that we didn't like about the ergonomic chair, it was like, oh, this could be a good solution. And I do think that it's an improvement, certainly. I think the headrest is a nice upgrade. I think the armrests are a little bit better. I do like the seat cushion more. I do think that it's an upgrade to their previous ergonomic chair. I just don't know if it really has the chops to push it out of just a standard C tier rating, which is where I kind of had it. Truthfully, I need to spend some more time in it. This is kind of a first impressions ranking for me. But just first initial impressions, I don't know if it really has anything on there that's going to allow it to push into the B tier for me, but we'll see.
Yeah, Robert definitely has the most time in this one. I think one of the, the thing I really, so when you recline, show us recline where that gap that's formed right there between those arms. That's one of the things that's super consistent on all of the chairs from Branch.
Super pre-recorded, Shadow. This is the most pre-recorded video you've ever seen.
What was that?
Someone thinks that this is pre-recorded, apparently.
Is this pre-recorded? Yeah, fully pre-recorded. It's so pre-recorded, we knew you were going to say that, and that's why we've now had a conversation on your pre-recordings. So we pre-recorded your pre-recording comment. Let's go. All right, so the gap that forms on these arms right here is the same across all of their chairs. It's something I don't like much on it. That seat pad, it looks like it should be this big, thick seat, but unfortunately, where it really you need it in the back of the seat pad, it's shallow right there. It's all in the front of your legs, which is totally opposite of what you need because that's just going to kill the circulation in your legs. That right there, those two things, and that lumbar support is like hit or miss. It's very firm, but it's not a good firm, if that makes sense. I don't know. This is another one from them that, like Ryan said, that's just sort of middle of the road for me, and it's more expensive than the other chairs. So yet again, fall back on what he said originally. Just go with their cheaper chair. That's what I think. I know are they working on another one too?
The thing about it is, though, guys, is the reason we say go with the cheaper chair is only if you want to buy a Branch chair. Like, if you're only going to buy a Branch chair, then just get the one that's $199. But if you're willing to buy any other brand, then don't buy Branch because you're going to find better value at every price point.
So, Nanoflower, I appreciate you. The video, yes, is live. The chat is pre-recorded.
Definitely.
So that's what it's all about. Okay.
Guys, even though I didn't spend as much time, pretty much hit on everything. You didn't leave me much. But the key there is what Greg said at the end, kind of about the seat being really firm in the back. It's like, yeah, they added all the extra pad, and it's firm enough. It's like a thick but firm enough pad in the front that it feels nice on my legs. But yeah, once you get into the butt, it's just like you sinking right through and hitting the
Getting
seat
into the
pan.
butt. All right.
Yeah, well, just watch Greg's new massage chair video if you want to have comfort throughout the whole body, including the butt.
Your buttocks.
That's coming out very soon, by the way.
It is.
But anyways, back to the chair. So yeah, it's like they got really close, but I wish they would have just kind of carried through more pad through the back part of the chair. I mean, the backrest is pretty nice, and I think that's kind of true of some of their other chairs, that they're not terrible. I wish it was maybe a little wider so that if I get a little off center, I'm not feeling the hard frame. And the headrest is fine. It's something that I think is worth adding. I actually got the tall cylinder, so you can get different cylinder heights so that it's, like this is as low as this one goes, so it's almost my height. So the tall cylinder does give you a good amount of extra height. So it's nice that they give a couple options like that. Arm pads, not so great. I mean, they're pretty firm. And yeah, this big gap is just really kind of sucks. So if you're wanting to recline like this and work or anything, you're just...
The problem with the
Lost
chair,
support.
ultimately, like we're not supposed to talk about value, but it's the price.
Yeah.
I mean, this on discount, this chair right now is $449, but you have to pay $65 to add the headrest. So this is over a $500 chair, even though it's discounted. And so, like, when we look at other $500, would you rather get the Branch Ergo Deluxe or whatever this is called, or a Hayworth Soji? I mean, it's
Yeah.
really, really tough to even, like, would you rather get a refurbished Leap chair that's like literally almost brand new, or a brand? There's so many other options at this price point. It's really, really tough.
Outlet's $469 right now on that outlet. So, I mean, you could get a Leap chair for $469. Just use that coupon code outlet20. Boom, there's the plug. But yes, Ryan's completely correct on that. Yes, you absolutely would want to look at so many other options at that price point with this particular chair. And if you don't want refurbished, you can get new chairs that are better than this. It's impossible for you to see this fitting in that place. I don't know what the reason for dropping this chair was, because I just don't see it even in their existing lineup really changing anything.
If they would have replaced their original, so their original Ergo chair is $329. This chair feels close to a $329 chair. I mean, a Colamy Atlas feels like you're getting more chair than this chair, and that chair is under $300. So if they would have replaced their previous Ergo chair too, and this is their new Ergo chair updated for $329 or even $349, if they increase the price of that, I'd be on board. I'd say, yeah, this would be one of our chairs to look at for under $350. But over $500, no way. It's the same vibes as their Verve chair. When I first saw the Verve chair and I first sat in it, I had no idea how much it cost. I assumed that it was about a $300 chair, and I said, oh, this could be pretty decent. And then Robert told me it was $600, and I was like, oh my God, why would anyone ever buy this? Their stuff is just overpriced. That's it.
That's a wrap on the Branch Ergo Pro, also known as the Ergo Deluxe Plus.
Roasted.
That one is a C tier. Okay, OM Truly chair is up next, and that is going to be something that actually got a slight bump on it. And the reason for it was there is an actual jacket option, which it looks like we got it suited up in the jacket. So this time around, we actually have it.
Yeah, it just gives
Yes, Agent Butterman, yes, thank you so much. We are going to show the Night Watch, and that they are coming in they should be here not next week, but the following week. They're actually almost here. So as long as stuff doesn't get congested in the ports, we should have that. And so you should be getting an email soon on that one. But yeah, we're going to show it. It's at the end. It's the last chair in the actual tier list. So CHB, would you guys consider the Ferns lumbar like the Leap 2s when maxed out without the lumbar? Do you find your back slouching too easily? Yeah, so that's a really good question. I think what that chair is, if you're like Ryan, who doesn't like a ton of lumbar, you're not going to want the lumbar in there. It's very pronounced. For me personally, So just as an example, I like to increase the lumbar all the way on the leap. I keep the height adjustable lumbar in there because it even emphasizes it more. Ryan has removed that lumbar, height adjustable lumbar feature in there for it to work for him comfortably. The Fern is the same way. He does not like the lumbar support system in there. He just likes the natural curve of the backrest. For me, I have to have that lumbar in there. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, Truly with the jacket. Ryan, you moved this thing up and pretty significant. With the jacket, you gave it an A-. What else do you like about it?
I mean, truthfully, I like almost everything about the chair. Like, I think it has a comfortable seat. It's a little more on the firm side, but I do think it's very comfortable. It doesn't have any awkward contours, no hard edges. It doesn't have thin padding in the back or the front. It's just a very well-rounded seat. The backrest that they're looking at now was my one thing that I kind of knocked the chair for, just because it's hard plastic, right? And I know that it's not like hard, it's flexible and it moves with you, but I don't love the feeling of just hard plastic on my back, even if it is flexible, even if it does have height adjustment and a very good lumbar support system like it does. That jacket, though, it's kind of like the digital knit for the Fern, where it makes it go from, oh, okay, this is pretty good, to, oh, wow, this is actually comfortable to me, and it kind of changes the whole vibe of the chair. So for me personally, the entire chair itself would be at a B+. I think the seat is great. I think the armrests that we've chosen to move on to, we've got a new arm package that we use on it now. I think those arms are very, very good. I think the backrest and overall adjustment package is top tier. I mean, you're getting independent back angle adjustment, back height adjustment, seat depth, all the adjustments you could ever think of. But adding that, and you can get a headrest on this chair too, which is another bonus. But adding that jacket to it, I think pushes it to A tier for me. So I'd be at an A- with the jacket, B+ without the jacket.
Someone just, I love these orders that are coming through, and I feel like I promised you I would say it all the time, but I feel like it's incredibly annoying to remind everybody constantly. It takes away from what we're doing. But this is the comment. Appreciate the order. Do I get a free T-shirt with the $300+ order per the live stream? And the answer is yes, you absolutely do. So we just need your shirt size. So guys, when you order during the live stream, if you order anything during the live stream, and it's over $300 up to $499, you get a T-shirt. If you order over $500 to $799, you get the sweatshirt. And if you order over $800, you can add that sweatshirt with the sweatshirt this cup. Or if you want Robert's shirt, you just that got renegotiated during the stream. Someone asked maybe an hour ago. Yes, you can get a T-shirt and a sweatshirt. You just need to let us know in the actual comment section at your order what you want there, so we get it for you. But if you the person who ordered this, I'm not going to name drop you, but you know who you are. Appreciate the order. I'll have make sure service reaches out on that one to find out what size you want. So,
thing that we've shown on a couple chairs is that when you recline back, you lose all your arm support. So here's an example of it that has a similar style recline, but because the arms come really far back here, I can recline back and my arms still have full support. So it's a really nice thing with the bigger arm package, or bigger arm pads, plus the arm depth adjustment. It's really a huge improvement, or just over some of those chairs where you're just like, you lose everything and you're just like, you can still keep working. So,
and it also depends like how much you're going to get with the synchro tilt in the seat and the back reclining. Because I feel like those cheaper chairs, there's a greater gap that's formed just because it just isn't what it should be. It's not a real ergonomic chair, I guess you could say, even if it's in the name. They do a much better job on some of these better chairs, and those arm pads are gigantor.
Yeah, you can see the front of the seat lifting up more as I recline back, which helps tip my whole body back.
The one thing I'll say about the Truly chair, because I think it's a great chair, and I rank it pretty high. I think it's a B for me. I actually bumped it up to a B+, much like Ryan bumped it up to an A- because of the jacket. It takes away the slipperiness of that back, because sometimes that poly back is a little slick. It doesn't have like that rubbery feel like you get on like the sail chair, but it does have that flexibility, which is really nice. So it makes it less slippery, and really I like it because you can really crank the curve on the lumbar. So the fact that you can pair that with the height adjustment, you can really fine tune that one in. That's a sneaky pick because not a lot of people even know that OM Seating is a brand, and they make a solid chair for sure. So, all right, we got B+ on that one. See Who 300 is up, and this is again another new chair for 2025's tier list.
Oh yeah, this one.
Would you see who brought that one in here? I feel like my puns and things have been really slacking lately. I need to step my game up, my pun game, and see who is just one of those companies that gives you more puns than you know what to do with. Look at that back vibrate, gyrate. It's like Shakira. Is that inappropriate? Okay.
A little too much. It's like we've talked about other chairs. Sometimes they try to put too much in these chairs, and it doesn't always work together.
Yeah. This is one of those chairs where it's like they had 17 ideas that they could put on a new chair, and they decided to roll out all 17 on one chair. And it's like, holy moly. So now we have spring shock absorbers in the seat. We have spring shock absorbers in the back. We do not have any lumbar support because we've decided to split it in half and instead support your love handles. We're able to adjust the back height independently of those love handles. We decided to go with a flip-up arm that you can't lock. So as soon as you put your elbow onto the back, it automatically flips on you. And then we decided to make the back of the armrest curved up because that's something no one has ever asked for, but we're going to put it on the chair. It's wild because this thing's like $600, $800. How much is this thing? It's a lot of money. And it's borderline for me, it's unusable. The armrests make it completely unusable. I would have to try to like lower them or pivot them completely out of the way so that I didn't touch them at all, because as soon as you make any contact with the back of the armrest, they just flip up on you, and there's no way to lock them down. And so unless you're leaned forward and intentionally leaning your arms forward, they're either going to swivel on you or they're going to flip up on you because they don't lock at all, and they're super, super loose, and they move everywhere. So I don't know. You don't get any lumbar support. The armrests are brutal. The seat is super uncomfortable because it's like the most pronounced bucket seat mesh design ever, like even more so than an Aeron chair. So this is just a hard no for me. I don't know. If we were ranking this on value, it'd be below F tier. What did I even give this thing?
I think you gave, well, it's a C overall.
It's a C overall. There's no way I gave it a C. There's just no way. Yeah, there's no way I gave this a C. I guarantee I was debating between F tier and D tier. I probably gave it something like D minus because you can quote unquote sit in it. I probably should have given it F tier because I can't use it at all.
That recline he just did right there, that's it. That's good.
Very loose though, and can you tighten that up? I think you can, but it doesn't go tight enough, which was a big problem. I did the review on this one, and again, I'd like to keep it unlocked and then let the recline tension do its job. This is mesh, reverse, isn't it?
Yeah, the mesh on that, though, is fairly comfortable.
Yeah, the mesh is actually pretty nice. What is it called? They weave in a velvet, I think, so it feels nice.
And you can adjust the pressure on that lumbar support some, right?
Yeah, I was just playing with that. It kind of, so I don't know if we can see that. Here we go. So now it's all the way out. If I pull it, then it pops further down. So there is kind of an adjustment. But if you leave it down, then it's almost like you have no support for your back. So I think you have to leave it up. But it creates kind of a weird, like, where I feel like I have to keep tension in my core to hold myself in the right position because I'm missing all that mid-back support. There's just this big gap here where nothing's supporting me. So it's like the shoulders are getting kind of pushed forward, getting support down low, but then nothing in the middle. And then I'm like, how do I fit in here? And man, these arms, yeah, I don't know how we got this thing to C now that I look at it.
I think if you could change those arms to be a flatter arm that doesn't pivot up, it would just make it more usable for more people.
Yeah.
But like, it is true. There were 17 things on the R&D board, and they went with all 17, not thinking how they work together. They don't.
Yeah.
But again, this is one of those chairs where there are people that get this, and it fits the way they sit. It's just not going to be highly, highly recommended here on this one. So, all right, that's new to the list, and it is right at C tier, but I think it's more like a C minus.
C tier. We made a mistake. Don't buy this chair.
Okay.
Like, we can't confidently stand behind this product. Listen, this is like a $700 chair. Listen, there's better options. This has a screw-together base. Like the problem is like, from a build quality standpoint, it doesn't excel there either. Like, it looks pretty and it looks flashy, But that base that we just showed you on that $700 or $800 chair screws together in 6 different components. That's something that we see almost exclusively on chairs that are like $100 to $200. So I don't know. I don't know. I think there's better options.
All right, Aeron Remastered. This is, I mean, guys, this is amazing because someone took this chair and moved it into the unthinkable position. His name is Rob with 2 B's. And he has got this thing. He bumped it up. He just said, whatever, I don't care what you guys say about this one. You can give it a low rank, but I'm going to give it an S tier. Tell us why, Rob.
Well, I think, again, this one is where I would go S if we put on the Atlas headrest.
He
So
cheated.
it's kind of cheating because the way you can buy it from Herman Miller, I probably wouldn't quite get it there, but that Atlas headrest I really like. So gives it a little boost. And plus, it's, again, I talked about this like, a couple hours ago when we started the stream. This is one where I really like it when we're in the more office setting. You're going to have your shoes on. You might be dressed a little nicer. You're going to be probably sitting a little more upright, proper, whatever it is at your desk. At home, I would probably rather have a chair with the padding, with the cushioned seat, so I can get a little more, relaxed position. So it's not great for that. Home office, I probably would not put this in S tier, but again, in an office setting, this is just super comfortable, and I'm not going to be probably doing this a whole lot in the office as much anyways. So, but yeah, that headrest, which we don't have on right now, but it boosts it up into that S tier.
So for me, I said this one I moved from a B- to a B. All right, so I gave this one a little bit more love. And I think the fact is that there's just not a lot of chairs out there that are in the mesh category that are as good as this chair. It has its drawbacks on the seat, frame or whatever with that bucket style. The recline's incredible, though. I do like the lumbar support on it. It just, when you sit in this chair and you lock yourself in, it just gives you constant back support with what's going on with your seat, which is really unique to this chair, and it's super comfortable when you're reclining. The arm pads are really nice. So all that together, I bumped it up. I gave it a little bit more love. This is definitely not my favorite chair, but I can see, why people, in Robert's case, maybe an S tier not, but an A tier for sure for some folks. That's a solid B for me.
Yeah, I went from a B to a B plus on this one just because when you look at the chair and the market as a whole, I do not believe that there's a better mesh chair than this one. I think this is the pinnacle of all mesh chairs. I don't love mesh seats, and so that's why it's probably going to be permanently B tier for me. But I do think that this is one of the most improved mesh seats, one of the most comfortable mesh seats. The problem for me with the Aeron and ranking it is that it does some things better than any other chair in the world. So like the recline is unbelievable. Like the smoothness, the action, the range. I've never sat in a chair that has a better recline. And then the arm pads. The new ErgoHuman has arm pads that are about as soft, but they don't feel as quality. They don't have the skin over it. The armrest on the Aeron are second to none. I mean, they're the best that I've found. Do they have the best adjustability? No, I think they have good adjustability. They just don't have the 4-way adjustment. But the pads themselves are absolutely incredible. And I really, really like the Posture Fit SL lumbar support because it supports you more almost like in a vertical area, and it's not super, super pronounced, and the pads are soft. So even though it's more focused on a smaller area, usually when you have lumbar support like that, you just kind of feel it poking in one area. That's not the case on this because it's very flexible. It goes with your body weight, has a soft pad, and it covers a nice range. And then you can kind of dial it in and out, make it more pronounced if you want. And so for me, the lumbar support or sacral support, whatever they want to call it, along with the arm pads and the recline, are absolutely incredible. And then when you pair it with being, in my opinion, the best mesh chair in the world, I mean, I'm talking myself into an A- right here, but I have it at a B+. I have it at a B+.
All right, there it is. So
I don't know that we've had, I don't know if you guys tested just the regular height adjustable lumbar to compare it?
We've seen it at the show before.
Yeah.
And it's like a better version of the pad because it's not like as aggressive in one spot, but it's still like just kind of like a plastic thing in one spot that just goes like this. Whereas the Posture Fit SL is going to have the flexibility. It's going to have the 2 pivoting spots. I think the SL is definitely worth the upgrade.
Yeah.
And I think that the Posture Fit SL sets the Aeron apart from every other chair on the market because no other chair has that system. So it is very, very unique. Oh, yeah, I see someone ask that question. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, what do we got next?
We got the Hayworth Breck chair. This is new to the list, guys. This is a new 2025 entrant into the list, guys. The only reason I think it's in the list is because it's new. I don't know if this one will remain in the list moving forward. I don't, a lot of these chairs that have been in here multiple times are because these are chairs that no matter how many times we do a tier list, we've got a lot of new people that come in. They always want to know the answer to the chairs that they're looking for most frequently. This is one that gets asked about, but again, C tier for us here as a whole. This one is a size issue really for me specifically, and I think a lot of people, just because they'll show in the like the pictures that are all over Hayworth, they do show a taller individual that actually looks like very similar in size and build to Robert, but there's no way that, as you can tell, as he's kind of fooling around in the chair, he doesn't really fit in this chair in any way. Actually, maybe the arms, I'm not sure, but I can even see that when you're sitting there, you're
the seat is too small in both directions.
Right.
He can't get it high enough, and he can't get it long enough. And yeah.
And so, and it just from a Hayworth build, like you can see on the underside of the seat that like you can see the upholstery kind of pulling out of it, and so I can see it from this angle right here. You just expect more from. It just feels kind of incomplete. You expect more from Hayworth. Comfort wise, that backrest is meh. The arms they remind me of a Series 1 chair with those arm pads, and it's just middle of the road. Now, again, this is their cheapest chair, so you're getting a 12-year warranty. I think they lean heavy into that. But from a comfort standpoint, if you fit in this, I can see it being a little bit better, but not super flexible. It's just an average chair. I think it really is just an average chair. I can't get away from just saying that over and over.
I appreciate what Hayworth is trying to do, right? They're trying to get into that lower priced market. They want to get a chair for under $500 because the way that the market is right now and the economy, there's not a ton of people spending over $1,000 on their chair right now like there was a few years ago. There's not as much disposable income. So we're seeing big manufacturers making plays like this where they're going to come out with a sub $500 chair to try to attract some new buyers. The problem that they have is that they're always going to get their margin. So Hayworth isn't going to go down to getting a 10 to 20 to 30% margin like all of these other Chinese chairs are going to do in order to get to that market. They're still going to make their massive margin, so you're just not getting as much chair. The value that you're getting is buying from Hayworth, and you're going to get some good components, and you're going to get a great warranty. Like Greg touched on, you're going to get good customer service, a good return policy, but when it comes to just the chair itself, you're not getting as much chair. So if we compare this chair to Steelcase's $500 chair, it's a big win. This is a big improvement over the Series 1. I like everything about it better than the Series 1. For me, the seat's not bad. The arms are okay. The backrest is okay. The recline isn't good, but it's an okay chair. It's very good compared to the Series 1. But if you compare it to every other $400 to $500 chair on the market, it doesn't really hold up anymore because there's a lot of $400 to $500 chairs that are going to be pretty good. They're going to do a lot more than this. You're just not getting the 12-year warranty, and it doesn't say Hayworth on it. So what do you value more, the functionality and the comfort or being able to buy from Hayworth? That's going to be up to you.
Another like weird phenomenon here where if you put your weight on I think you guys can see this, where if I put my weight on the arm pads, because they're connected to the backrest, it pulls that whole back so far forward. I'm sure you guys can see that.
Yep.
So it's like a really weird feeling. Like if I shift my weight too far forward, then all of a sudden I'm just pulling my whole backrest. It's like there's other chairs that work like the Aeron has the arms attached, but you certainly don't feel anything when you push your arms into it. So
when you turn sideways with that, and I look down the line, and you don't have your back up against the chair. The arms are already slanted down.
oh yeah,
Away from the mic here, but if when I can just see that it wants to tilt forward just naturally, but again, when you're putting all that flex on the chair like you are when you're sitting in it, it's probably going to end up kind of being that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let's see. All right, so that's just a meh. It's a C. And it's not a good meh.
The Steelcase Leap headrest has been finished. Don't buy it. If you want a headrest on the Steelcase Leap, then just get a gesture. The Leap isn't designed to have a headrest. That's why the headrest from Steelcase is garbage, and every attempt to make a third-party headrest on the chair has not panned out because The chair is not designed to have a headrest. It's very, very hard to mount the headrest. It's very hard to make it firm, but also loose to have the same flexibility as the back. It's just not a good chair for a headrest. If you want a headrest on a steel case chair, just buy a gesture. Yeah.
All right, so next up, we've got the Eurotech Vera chair. This is a good one. This is definitely sat high up on our list. It actually looks like it made a slight increase on it from the comfort-only standpoint. And this one's been living at about a B+ here from 2024. It was in the 2023 tier list as well. Now it's jumped up all the way to an A-, which is just a slight improvement. Again, that's just like a third of a point there to move up. Just to reiterate, too, we have – this is something that we sell. We have let's see, we have 2 of them. There's only 2 of these in the outlet right now in the black. So if you guys want to pick one of these up right now, normally it's going to sell for $469, and right now it's $282. So that's ridiculous, like 40% off. It's another one that feels like it's the wrong number, but it is what it is. So less than $300 on this chair. That's an unbelievable deal because
Yeah, for sure.
that's crazy. So anyways, when we look at this one, for it to be in an A, there's only a couple that make it into A that are that inexpensive. It's usually refurbished or like an outlet format to make that work. I gave this chair and have consistently given this chair an A. I think it's just a well-rounded chair. For the price, it's always been a good value. But the seat pad for me, I think it's really comfortable. I love the backrest. It's like a hammock when you get into it. It has this natural curve in it that just fits your back perfect, and it doesn't feel too pronounced, but it doesn't feel like it's not there. You actually can move around in that backrest a little bit too, which is nice. I'd say the only drawback for me is the fact that the arms are just a bit firm. I know that's something that others will talk about here too, but it's got, you know, all the adjustments to get comfortable in it, and for me, it fits me perfect. So I'm going A tier.
Yeah, I went from a B+ to an A- on this one. Strictly comfort. Strictly comfort. If we were to rank the build quality and the warranty and then all the adjustment package, I wouldn't be at an A-. It doesn't have the same build as the majors, but from just a pure comfort standpoint, very, very difficult to beat this chair for 2 reasons. In my opinion, the seat in the back can compete with any chairs on the market, and that includes the Leap. So the Leap that I sit in, I consider this top of the line. The seat on the Vera is one of the very few seats that I sit in, and I'm like, holy moly, this is probably more comfortable than the Leap. It doesn't have the same flexibility in the seat pan, but the cushion itself is ridiculous. It is a little bit thicker than the Leap pad, which again can often be a drawback, but it has really good bounce back, and it's not overly thick, so you don't bottom out, you don't sink way down in it, you sit on the top of it, but it's nice and cush, like you're floating on it. It has a phenomenal seat, and when you factor in the price, it's pretty ridiculous. The backrest might be better than the seat because the mesh is super unique in that it kind of flexes and form fits to you, so like you do sink into it more than almost every mesh chair, but not so much so that you feel the frame, which can often be a problem. Again, very good bounce back in that mesh. Doesn't quite have the same flexibility as like a chair like the Leap, but that mesh and the way that you sink into it and the way that you're kind of floating gives you an incredible feeling. The recline, I think it's got really good recline, like a B tier, A- recline. It doesn't do anything super fancy, but very, very consistent, nice range. The only thing for me is, like Greg said, it does not have the best arm package. So for me, I wish the arms went a little bit lower, and I wish they weren't quite as smooth and sloped. But that would be my only complaint with the chair. And so for me, the seat and the back are S tier. The arms are probably somewhere around like C tier. The recline is like a B tier. So that's why I'm at like an A-.
Yeah, tough to add much more. You guys really covered that. I mean, it's the same for me. I just wish the arms went lower. I'm actually okay with the pads. I don't mind the curve to them, and they have enough adjustment to get where I want them to be. But yeah, it's just that height doesn't go low enough. I mean, it's actually okay. It's just, it's borderline where I really would wish it went like only an inch lower, and it'd probably be perfect for me. But that backrest is just awesome. So we just have, it fits so many different people because of what Ryan was saying. It just flexes to fit kind of the shape of your backrest, fits in the curve of your lumbar there just right. So yeah, that's what keeps it really highly ranked for me, is that curve in the backrest. Even without, I mean, you can see there's no adjustable support, like additional support. You don't need it. The mesh just does all the work.
Yep, very human scale-esque with that backrest.
There you go, guys. Make sure there was only 2. It looks like there's still 2 right now. Go into the outlet. Hopefully we dropped a link for the outlet version. I don't know if we did. There it is. Okay. Make sure, guys, you head over to the outlet, and if you want one of these, you can get it for $289 right now. It's a returned version of the chair. It's brand new. It just went out for a little bit, came back to us, inspected, and sent. It'll get sent back out to you for $289. It's unbelievable.
Vera review coming out, a full video on this, so those outlets will be, if they're not gone today, they'll be gone after that review comes out. So now's the time to buy for that extra 20%.
Okay, and then don't forget, guys, with any purchase that you make, you guys are getting the gear. So you get a T-shirt for over $300, over $500, you get the sweatshirt, and then over $800, you get a sweatshirt and a T-shirt, or you can grab up the mug. You just got to let us know in the comment section and check out what size you are so that we get that. All right, next up, we got another great option here. This is going to be another chair that isn't at the top of the list of their chairs that they necessarily have in their lineup, but it is going to score really high. Haworth Zodi, much like a Steelcase Amiya, is that second sort of tier of the chair out of their lineup that scores super well. And it looks like this is about as consistent as it gets. We got A's across the board. We had an A in 2024. We got an A in 2025. This one's just going to stick around sitting right at A, it appears. And again, this is the second iteration of a Zodi. So first iteration of the chair, if you get them in the used market, not going to be an A, just so we're clear on that. This is... When did they drop this? 3 years ago? Was it 3 years ago it dropped?
Somewhere around there.
I think it was, about 3 years ago. So that is the Zodi 2, but they just call it Zodi now. So just so we're clear on that. I give it an A tier. I mean, it's a well-rounded chair. I like the backrest. I think it's comfortable. I don't think the backrest is quite as comfortable as the Fern with the digital knit, but I still think it's really comfortable. Seat pad's nice. I like the arm pads. It's got good support. So for me on this chair, it's just an easy A. I mean, everything about it is really good. It's way above average. So
Shocker, coming from Haworth, it's a beautiful chair. I mean, it looks really nice, especially with this configuration. And I think that's partly what gives it the A comfort too, the all mesh version that doesn't have the, and I blank every time I
Digital knit.
Digital knit, thank you. If you don't get the digital knit, I probably would put it maybe at an A-, but I really like the look and feel of the digital knit fabric. Yeah, and it gives you different perch modes. Of course, now on the spot, let's see if I can get it in that perch mode. I think it's that one. Okay, there we go. So you should be able to see it from that. Does this,
reset mode.
Just move the desk into place. Here we go. So now I can move my desk up and kind of be at that perch mode where I'm sitting forward. So I don't think we've had a single chair in our list yet that could do something like this. So I don't know how important it is to everyone, but there might be some people that's a reason to buy right there.
The Zodi is just crazy because this is one of those chairs where even though it's like $1,000 plus, you could make an argument that this chair provides the best value on the market. Because, I mean, when you compare it to like a Fern or a Gesture or chairs like that, you're not sacrificing anything in build quality. It's not like the Fern is a more well-built chair than the Zodi. Like, the Zodi has premium components throughout, and they are custom components. They are not found on every other chair in their lineup. This is one of the most well-built chairs that you're going to find, and it's their second-tier chair, which is incredible. And so you're not going to find a better-built chair than this for the price. And then the adjustment package is incredible. So like if you were just put this head-to-head against the Amiya, which would be a similarly priced chair, this is going to blow the Amiya out of the water when it comes to looks and adjustments and potentially build quality if you value things like polished aluminum and having things like that. So I think the Zodi is the most slept-on chair potentially in the market. I think for a lot of people it would be better than the Fern because it's just a more, I don't want to say basic, but it doesn't have kind of the the features on the Fern that make it unique, that make people maybe not want to like it, right? Like the Embody has a ton of unique features, but people don't always like that super skinny backrest that might roll your shoulders. The Zodi just has a normal backrest with great flexibility, two-way lumbar support, huge ranges on everything. It looks really good, but then you also get a few unique adjustments, like the adjustment that Robert showed where you can use it in that dual function mode. So I think the Zodi is a great chair, and you do have the option to add the headrest. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it's very good, but you just have a ton of options with the chair. And so, yeah, easy A across the board on this one.
Wow, and we go from what are two really nice chairs to just the absolute epitome of an office chair, which I think is funny that we've got this one
on the list.
It's still on the list because you guys just demand this to be on the list. I mean, demand. The Staples Hyken is a staple in Staples, right? It is exactly what it is. This is such a great value if you want to have back, neck, shoulder issues. You're guaranteed because it's undersized. It's everything that's wrong with mesh chairs, and nothing fits on here. If you're 6 foot, good luck, because the seat's too small and the headrest doesn't go high enough. So you're just going to get that right in your neck, and you're going to feel the nice line in there where that foam pad is in the front of it. Oh man, this is an all-day F tier for me. And again, on the road to redemption, this one didn't make redemption at all on this. We actually just brought in the Dexley chair, and Ryan is working on a video right now to compare the two, because apparently there's a tremendous amount of people out there that want to know the difference between these two chairs, and I'm assuming they're not that significant, but we're going to find out.
Ryan kind of drew the short straw on that one. Have to review the Staples chairs.
So the problem is that they're so easy to review because they don't do anything. Like, yeah, there's a reason that they're so cheap, guys. Like, they don't do anything. They don't fit most people. And when you sit in them, they're wildly uncomfortable, and they are very low quality. I mean, like, when you sit in this chair and feel the chair, I can see the chair's about to tip over right now. Like, Robert is leaning back, and the wheels are coming off the ground. Like, it's not a well-designed chair from any aspect. The casters are tiny, like the smallest wheels you would ever find. Everything on it is low end. The seat is super uncomfortable. The arms have very little adjustment. The headrest is borderline unusable. This is one of those chairs where I just see no reason to ever buy this chair. I see no reason to ever buy this chair unless you physically walked into a Staples, sat in it, and you knew 100%, yep, this chair will work for me. If not, then I wouldn't even entertain. I wouldn't even entertain it. I wouldn't. Yeah, Robert's showing how our mesh is frayed. This chair has been sat in probably the least amount in our entire office because we would have to pay our employees about 5 times what they make just to sit in this thing. And then we'd be paying medical bills for their workers' comp injuries. You don't want anyone sitting in this thing.
So you're saying this is definitely not an S tier?
If there was a tier below F tier, we would be borderline putting it in that one. But this is F tier all day long, all day.
Robert, it's an F tier for you?
Yeah.
He's sliding it out of here.
Yeah.
All right, he's sliding it out. It is gone, guys. All right, Ergo Extreme, another new one to the list here. This is the updated version of the IOO chair. And so much like the Ergo Human Gen 1 to Gen 2, the change here from the IOO chair into the Ergo Human Extreme, it is Ergo. Is it Ergo Human Extreme? I think they call it Ergo Human Extreme. It is an actual significant upgrade that they've done on this chair. So overall, this thing ranks super high with you guys in a mesh chair too, which is surprising. Better priced than the Ergo Human Gen 2 as well, and very similar to the Gen 2, just at a little bit more affordable price. This is an A tier for 2025, first time hitting that list. Again, they really solved a lot of that seat mesh problem by changing the shape design of the seat. Very similar to an Aeron Remastered where they removed the foam pad. And again, like the Ergo Human Gen 2, it's got those super soft, squishy arm pads that are nice and adjustable. Recline on this one, again, another change where they bring the arms now with you so there's not a huge gap on it. Again, I don't think you can go wrong with this. You can, even if you don't like a lot of lumbar support, you can tone it back a little bit so there is an adjustment in the back that Robert can maybe show. But for me, again, A tier.
Yeah, I actually like this chair better than the Gen 2. I think the seat's more comfortable. If you were going to ask me my most comfortable mesh seat, it might be this one. So, like, while I was telling people that Aeron is the best of the best if you want the best mesh chair. I still believe that to be true just because the Aeron does so many things better than this chair does, except for the seat. Except for the seat, which might be one of the most, well, it is one of the most important aspects of the chair. I think they got the seat really good on, I think they did the seat really well on this one. I think the backrest is pretty good. The armrests are good like the Ergo Human Gen 2. So, yeah, I'm going to be, I think I was at like an A minus B plus on this one, if I remember correctly. But either way, I think it's a really good chair. For the people that asked what would be the next best option if I don't want to spend $2,000 on the Aeron, I would be looking at this or the Ergo Human Gen 2. One of those two would be my next two in line. Potentially the Carmen, but that has some issues that I don't know if we really want to delve into. This is probably a safer pick.
Yeah, I think one thing to think about with this chair is it is pretty straight up. So like if you're sitting it, you're going to be pretty upright, which, I mean, you can unlock that and then be reclining and lock it back. But so yeah, I think you got to find your spot where you want it.
That was a change, though, from the IOO, which always had a recline feel to it.
Back.
You could never get it perfectly upright, which was one of the things I didn't like about it, that and the slippery arms where they just always moved.
Yep.
They fixed those two problems on here for sure. But
No, you can either go super upright or kind of pick these different spots. Again, I would just leave it unlocked, tighten up your recline tension so you can put it in the right spot. But yeah, seat is really nice on this. You never really feel like you're hitting the frame unless you get way off center. And I don't know if you guys mentioned the arm pads, but they're just awesome. This is the same ones like the Ergo Human Gen 2. So a lot of really good things here. Backrest, kind of that flared wide, so you're not hitting any hard frame. Lumbar, it's nice to have that to be able to dial it in. So yeah, definitely an A tier, which not a lot of chairs that have a mesh seat get up into that A tier. So it's a good one.
It's rare.
So let's see. Are there significant differences between the Ergo Human Gen 2 versions? So in the States here, we only have the Ergo Human Gen 2 and a Gen 2, it's their elite version, I believe. It isn't the Ultra. So that's all we have in the States. And so between them, the only differences here, what we have offered are going to be the different combinations of the seat upholstery, back upholstery, and then the headrest. And then when it comes to the the extreme chair, I think it's just this one. I don't believe, is there a combo on it? I can't remember if they brought the combo in. And then, yeah, that's pretty much, are we going to get an Ultra? I don't believe so. I don't think the States is a candidate for getting the Ergo Human Ultra.
I'm trying to think if any chair I've sat in thus far goes so far back on the recline.
It's got a deep recline, that's for sure. It's
Could
an
be
awesome chair for lounging in.
Yeah, or gaming chair if you want to just get deep here and
Just get deep.
yeah.
Deep in one here.
Ooh, I locked it back there. There we go.
Okay, all right. Next up on the list, we got the diaper chair, Han Ignition. This one is just a staple that's always apparently showing up because a lot of people want to know what this is all about. Han is like the third biggest manufacturer in the world for furniture, and so this is like their flagship. I think this is their flagship chair. I think this is their most popular chair.
Probably.
And it kind of just gives you a little bit more insight into that brand. They are massive, but they aren't like a Steelcase or a Herman Miller where they, really have like these sort of like designed forward. We care a lot about the look of the chair. This is just more of your just standard edition, something that comes from China. But again, it's definitely an upgraded version, in my opinion, of some of the Chinese chairs that you see coming out, because one thing is that it has a flexible backrest, which you almost never see in a mesh chair, but it's in the 450 range, usually 400, 450. And so you could say that this one has some value to it if you like it. It's got a lot of adjustments. It isn't a chair in that $400 price range. It really kind of wows me. It just kind of does the things that you need an office chair to do. So you could definitely see this being a workhorse for sure.
The thing about this chair is that while it doesn't wow you, if we look at the other chairs that you would be buying instead of this one, it compares very favorably to like the other big name chairs out there from the more recognized brands. So for instance, that Branch Ergo chair that we rolled out, that thing's $100 more than we're showing you here. And I would sit in this Han Ignition over that one all day, every day. And you're getting it from Han instead of Branch. When we compare it to like the Breck that we just looked at, the Breck is going to be the same price as this chair. This chair is going to be much more comfortable than the Breck. It's got a better, in my opinion, seat and backrest than the Breck. Arms are going to be very similar. Recline's going to be better than the Breck. So if you're going to compare it to like the other chairs in the price range, it's a very good candidate. The only problem is that there's some chairs that are priced lower than it that might be better than it, like potentially the Outlet or potentially a chair like the Ameep or something like that. But I think it's a very fair chair to have in every list because it's Han, it's their #1 chair, and it does compete favorably in the price range that they sell it in. And then the bonus is that sometimes they offer crazy discounts on this thing, and you can pick this thing up oftentimes for like $340, $350. So if you are patiently waiting and you don't feel the need to buy now and you're looking for something that is going to go down to that $350 price point eventually, this might be one just to follow for a few months, and eventually it's going to hit that price point.
This, as you can see, has that gap problem where you recline and your arms just have nothing. I mean, it's just like the branch chair. It's really unfortunate. So maybe the biggest negative, then the arms just have almost no adjustment. So yeah, there's definitely some big drawbacks that, yeah, some of these chairs that are much less expensive are improved on that. They have better arm pads, but so yeah, and it does have the diaper button, as Greg mentioned. I don't know if we could pick this up here.
That is a diaper all day. Love that sound.
So Chaxologist, Trustpilot reviews, just a heads up. Trustpilot reviews are going to be about the most credible reviews that you can find because it's run by the website, not by, so for instance, we use Trustpilot. We have no control over those reviews. We can't control if they get posted, if they don't get posted. If we email the link to you to review us, we have no control over it anymore. Trustpilot controls everything. So if you see a Trustpilot review, the vendor or the seller or the company, they have no control over that review. They can't remove it. They can't change it. They can't alter it. All we can do is just reply. So Trustpilot is probably the best way to find actual true reviews.
The only thing I'll say about Trustpilot reviews to kind of go off of that is that you can, I've definitely seen like brands who have like a well-established way of like creating a hierarchy of this like email structure thing that they like send out requests. They look for that, but you can't catch it all the time. So just you can read through the reviews and know what's up on that. But again, yeah, like Ryan said, you can't moderate it to get it taken down unless is something that was not specific. If it wasn't a customer and they deem it to not be a valid review, which I have no idea how they'd even do that because I don't know how they would even do that. But there's some moderation in there. But again, every customer like BTODS gets a chance to drop reviews in there, and we just basically reply to all of them. We hope we always have positive reviews in there, but can't be perfect.
The logwood is going to feel softer than the onyx. That's why we introduced the logwood, because it's a more comfortable fabric to the touch. It's going to be softer, more comfortable. That's why you would go with the logwood, and it looks a little bit different. But yeah, you're sacrificing some durability. You're still getting more durability out of the logwood than the standard upholstery that Steelcase sends. So twice the durability. It's just not 5 times the durability like the other one. So
next up on the list here, and before we jump in there, guys, don't forget, if you are in here and you want to pick up, we are almost to the end of the stream here. So if you guys want to grab up something from that outlet, we got Leaps in there still, Lamias, Amias. I think there was a couple Veras. So make sure you guys are in there using that coupon code, just like Barefoot just said, going to pick up that Lamia. You guys are saving a ton, like 30 to 40% off of our normal retail prices right now when you take that a coupon or just the discount off of what it is just to get in the outlet, and then the extra 20%. So outlet 20. And if you buy anything, you guys got to make sure you're letting us know shirt sizes. T-shirt on Robert is for orders $300 to $500. $500 to $800 is going to be a sweatshirt. And then if you guys go over $800, you get one of the cups with a sweatshirt, or you can swap out the cup with the T-shirt. So you just got to let us know your size. All right, Secret Lab Titan, the Evo. Guys, this is what you've all been waiting for. This is, as people say, the Secret Labs, although it doesn't actually have an S in the name, but it's the Secret Labs chair. Robert, there it is.
Careful.
Does your chair do that?
I just said the extreme was the deepest recline, or lowest. This is even further. It makes me a little nervous.
Wow.
But yeah, I would never do this. I don't know if some people are.
You're not napping? Some people nap. Some people are sleeping in their chairs.
Yeah, I mean, just very firm backrest. That's the thing is, yeah, if you want to sleep in it, it's going to be still really hard. You'd have to give it some padding somehow. And then you could amp up the lumbar support. Ooh, way up here, it's really awkward. And move it up and down.
Road to Redemption Tour. This is one of those that is on Road to Redemption from everyone in this group. We
Really?
bumped this chair. This is what we like to call we're giving it a second chance, guys.
We brought it from F tier to D minus because you can actually sit in it.
Yeah.
I mean, the seat is one of the worst we've ever seen. The backrest is not quite the worst that we've seen because it does have the integrated lumbar support, so it's a little bit better than the other gaming chairs. The arm pads are soft, and they have 4-way adjustment. It's just that when you put everything together, it's just not a comfortable chair. Like, I could never sit in this chair. Like, personally, me, I would prefer to sit in, like, I'm talking myself going back to the F tier because for me, I would rather sit in a dining room chair than this. And that's not exaggerating. I would just prefer to have no arms and a wood seat that's just stationary than to sit in this thing because it just makes you so uncomfortable everywhere. Like, the seat is really uncomfortable. The armrests are just awkward to use. They're too wide. They don't go low enough. The arm pads are good, but they're in a position where I can't really use the chair. And then the backrest, the lumbar support is okay, but the backrest is so rigid, and I cannot stand just being hugged like this all day long. I don't know. I feel like I'm giving them a D minus just because the build quality, to be honest. But
And that headrest. That headrest is so comfy.
it is, but
There you go. Memory foam headrest with that velvet on there. Dang. That's pretty cool. That's
is the
pretty
best part.
cool. I mean, if you have a lot of neck sweat, though, that one's going to be rough. Did you? Don't worry. People aren't spending a lot of time in that chair.
Yeah.
I know that Nick tried to use that chair for an extended period of time, and he gave it like 3 weeks, and he just was so uncomfortable. I give him credit, though. That's a long grind in that one. So we all give it basically somewhere in the low D tiers. So we're on road to redemption, guys. Ryan said that there are other chairs worse. He seems to have gone back on that statement, and maybe just other chairs are garbage tier, and this one's F.
that's the problem. It's like someone commented earlier that when we were reviewing the Hyken, that they would rather sit in the Hyken than the Jar Fillet. And it's like, yeah, I can see that. You pair two garbage chairs together, and yeah, you might like one a little bit more than the other. The problem is we don't have another tier. We have a lot of chairs that end up in the F tier that should probably be in a tier below it. And so, yeah, you're in a situation where you're going to have like a Titan chair in the same tier as like a kitchen chair because you don't have another tier below it type of thing. I don't know. Right.
It's rough.
Yep. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
The
All right.
opposite end of the spectrum here.
Yeah, this is definitely the opposite end of the spectrum. We've got the almighty, the best, the numero uno, Lamia. If you have never been to the channel before, a Lamia is a creation from a Amiya seat. The Amiya seat added onto the Leap frame. So you get the Leap back, the Amiya seat. I'll just cut straight to the chase. This chair is god tier, okay? There's not a better chair out there than this one, you know, in my opinion, right now, because it's got the Leap frame and it puts my Amiya seat with that Leap frame. And I'm just absolutely loving that part of it. And this one's sat here since I made this thing. The Lamia, I don't even know how long this thing has been around now. What do we have, like 3 years? It's been sitting on S tier for the last 2 years. There's one hater in the building, and he gives it an A+. You'll find out who that is. So,
I hate the chair. That's why I give it an A+. They completely ruined it by putting the Amiya seat on what was already an S tier chair. The Leap is S tier. They decided they needed to improve it by making it worse. So I've completely downgraded this from an S to an A+.
it's unbelievable what you've done to this thing.
So do not buy.
Yeah, it's a hard pass on
A+,
this one at A+.
do not buy list.
So someone just asked, is the refurbished Lamia not eligible for the 20%? No, the if you get one fully refurbished that isn't in the outlet, then there isn't a 20% coupon. You guys got to go in the outlet to grab up stuff for 20% off. So looks like we just dropped a link in there. All right. Yeah, I mean you got the best arm package right on that, the 4-way arms. You got the lumbar support. You got that back frame, the full frame of a Leap chair. So you're gonna have the back limiter, backstop limiting tilt feature. I mean, look at he's doing a Russian twist sort of. You can do that in this chair, and I just prefer that Amiya seat a little bit more than the Leap seat, but it's marginal. So this is my ideal chair at S tier. Robert, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Lamia is just a little better than the Leap. They're so close. That's what makes this a S Leap A+. But it is that flexibility that I still really like in this backrest. So then having a little extra lumbar support, that's definitely what bumps it over the Amiya backrest for me, being able to dial it up. That's probably where I know Greg and I probably are a little more leaning towards more lumbar support, whereas Ryan doesn't usually like as much. I mean, what's nice is if you really wanted to, you could take out the lumbar pad. I don't know if you still do that, Ryan, but you could take out this entire height adjustable lumbar system if you don't want as much support. So not many chairs have that option either, where you can totally remove something. So yeah, flexibility all around. Even though the Leap seat might have a little more flex to it, the Amiya still has plenty here. And then a little thicker feel on the pad. It's not actually much thicker. We've showed that in videos, but it feels like you're getting more support, kind of especially in the back area. So,
and make sure you hit that outlet link because we got a few of those in there, and you can get the 20% off those. They're like $559. It's just crazy because they're $843 before that coupon. So wild. Okay. All right. So that's an S tier. That's one of our S tiers in the list. All right, last one in the list, guys, is going to be the new chair, the Nightwatch Commander chair. So this one was literally built because you guys are asking for chairs that are not flimsy, as you say, right? They're built for people to sit in for a long period of time if you're heavier or you're just, a full-grown person and you want to have you're just
if you're only half grown, you don't want this chair. Listen.
Well, let's be honest. My kids aren't going to fit.
In your teens, you don't need this chair.
Well, otherwise your mom's going to really have to love you. So
it's not cheap.
It's definitely not cheap, but this one's one of those buy it for life type of products. So this thing is overbuilt in basically every single place it can be. And so for me personally on this chair, this is an A+. Honestly, it's so close. If I could get those arms to get a little bit narrower for me, which it's just honestly from the structure of how we have to build it, because again, we have to support people that are heavier weight that are just going to get after this chair for long periods of time. If you look at how it's tied into the bottom of the seat frame, you can see how that curve and how thick the steel is that you just simply can't make it get any narrower, even though they are width adjustable. And again, because it's for a little bit larger set of people, we wanted to make sure there was enough room in this chair. So the headrest is game changer. The seat on this thing is ridiculous. So the seat pad on this thing, I spent just a ton of time working with them to get the seat pad right on this. And I can tell you for great certainty, like 12 plus hours, if you're someone who sits all the time, you're not going to beat this thing for sure from the seat pad. It looks big and thick, but it does have thickness to it, but it's not a chair where you're going to sink down deep into it and feel like you're in a couch. It's going to give really good support. And yeah, it's built for people who are like legit, like 5'9", 5'10" for sure, and up to like 6'7", 6'8" maybe. I mean, it is a big chair. We are working right now to get a little bit shorter cylinder on it to try to get you guys that are 5'8", 5'9" in the chair. But honestly, that's about where it's going to end up. It's never going to be for people that are shorter. So that would get dinged too if you're a little bit shorter. But A+ for me.
So this is one of those chairs that we designed for a specific subset of people, right? So like Greg just touched on, it's not going to fit everyone. And like one of those subsets is going to be me. It doesn't fit me properly. This is going to be made for, our first iteration is going to be honestly made for people like Robert, where they're not big, but they're tall. And they need a tall chair. They need something that they're going to be able to sit in for 12, 14, 16 hours every single day. That's going to hold up to that type of use, but also be comfortable for that entire duration of time and actually fit them. And so you can see this chair actually fits Robert at 6'3". Me, being 5'9", 5'8" on my bad days, It's a little bit too big for me. So like I have to use a footrest with this one. The seat height doesn't go quite low enough for me, which is fine. I actually use a footrest on all of my chairs. I use a footrest on my Leap. I just like to use a footrest, so that's not an issue for me. But it is a little bit just too big for me. It's a little bit too wide for me. So like while Greg commented on the arms are a little bit too wide for him, they're even a little bit more wide for me, if that makes sense. And then the chair just kind of feels like I'm in an oversized chair, which doesn't always feel great depending on what you're looking for. So for me personally, I'd be at a B+ on this chair. I still think it's very, very comfortable. The seat is incredible. The backrest is very, very well padded, and that headrest is super unique. It's going to be like your car headrest where you can adjust it however you want. Really solid feeling, but it's soft, so it's not wiggling and flopping all around, but you can sink into it, and it's got good softness. So, and then just from a build quality standpoint, this thing is an absolute tank, and so it's going to last however long you want to use it. Like Greg said, it's kind of a buy it for life thing. And then I guess the other potential downside for some of you out there is this chair was designed strictly for function and comfort, not necessarily for looks. So if you're looking to spend $2,000 and get something that looks like a Fern or looks like an Embody, then obviously this wouldn't be for you. We had a comment from someone that, they love their Eames chair and this chair doesn't compare to an Eames chair. And it's like, okay, well, apples and oranges and Eames chair is $5,000 and it was designed just to look really good, whereas this chair was just designed to be super comfortable and just hold up for those 12, 14-hour sessions where you're just in your chair all day long. So kind of a different niche that we're trying to fill, but I do think this is a void that currently exists in the market, and there is not a lot of chairs for people that are just tall and not big, and not a lot of chairs for big and tall or just tall people that just last a long time to be sitting and kind of lounging all day and doing tasks and stuff. So
Yeah.
super cool chair. I think Greg did a great job on it. So
Phil asked to see that lumbar on there if you want. Oh, you just ran through it? Okay, sweet. Yeah, and there's not a ton of these left, actually. We pre-sold a boatload of these chairs already. They come in about 2 weeks. We're going to see them here. So if you want to grab one up, we did the early sale on this where it was 25% off the chair. You're not going to see that again. So if you are interested, you're going to be waiting maybe 3 weeks on this to get this chair now. Not some of you have been waiting for a lot longer than that. They are almost here. So I'm super excited to get these out to you guys. Obviously, with the pre-sales that came in, it's clear that there is a market for it. I know there was a lot of comments on there like, I can't believe a chair is $2,000, but you guys hanging out with us know there's plenty of chairs that are $2,000. There's just not a lot of chairs like this that are $2,000. So, Robert, did you give your opinion on this at all?
Not yet. Yeah, it is great to have a chair that I don't have to worry at all with my height to be a problem, to have tons of room. I mean, that headrest goes way higher than I would even need it, which proves that you can be quite a bit taller than me and still fit in this no issue. And I mean, that's kind of my favorite part. I love being able to flex this into place. Kind of works.
yes, it does bend back to be flat, Phil.
Yeah, it's multi-dimensional. You can pivot the whole thing forward. You can spread it out, right?
headrest
so
you're
it's in
saying?
like an A. Otherwise, you can pinch it back flat.
Yeah.
And then if you pinch it flat when you squeeze it back down. So yeah, it's going to be just like in your car or a truck more than a car. It's like a big truck. I drive a GMC. It's like this is like the seat in my truck, just a little bit softer. So
Feels great. I mean, definitely long hour chair. I mean, this is definitely the S tier of the long hour chair.
If you took out all of the negatives of a Titan Evo, and then beefed up the build so that it was going to last 12 years, that's what this chair is. So the people that are out there that are buying the Titan Evo XL, those chairs, because they want just a cush. A lot of people buy that Titan because they think it's going to be a cush chair. They don't realize how rock hard it's going to be. If you're actually looking for a cush chair you're going to be able to sit in for 8 hours while you're working, and then 10 hours after you're done working, whether it's lounging, watching movies, gaming, whatever it is, that's what we aimed to create here. You don't have the side bolsters or the terrible arms or the headrest that just is magnetic. This is the legit lounge, dual function. I work for 8 hours in this chair, and then I get to hang out in this chair for another 8 hours, whether it's gaming, watching movies, watching TV. This is going to be great for those environments where you're working and then literally swiveling your chair to watch your TV in the same type of room. So, yeah.
all right, guys. And again, like I said, this is your last chance to grab this up with that coupon. So this one has a 25% early bird special on. It's going to end next week because it's almost here. So again, if you want to scoop this thing up, we're going to drop that in there. I think someone's working on dropping the coupon in there so that you guys can grab it up. And then again, to all the outlet stuff, I know you guys got to watch, you got to hang out and make sure you get the right chair. The outlet 20 coupon for 20% off everything in the outlet is going to be good through Monday. So it's going to end on Monday. So take your time on the weekend to kind of pick out what you want. Just know that there's limited quantities available. When they're sold out, you'll see they'll just disappear. And so then you got to wait for someone to buy one and return one of whatever it was to get another one, and probably get another live stream going to get that price because these are ridiculous. So anybody have any questions before we take off here? I'm happy to answer a couple questions on any of the chairs if you missed them. We're happy to bounce through there and let you ask away. We got maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We've been on here for almost 4 hours. So
Thinking, man, none of these chairs fit me. I'm way too small. So we potentially could roll them out if there's a specific one you want to see. But there are several different options at different price ranges. So
are we gonna see you in the petite chair, Robert?
well, might be fun, but it's not going to be real helpful.
Be pretty funny. You're in that chair, and then you jump in the petite.
Yeah.
Let's just show the size difference.
Yeah,
what's
let's
the
roll a
smallest
petite
one?
chair and compare them so you guys can see.
The red one, yes.
The XSM.
So this
I
red one
believe?
is our best petite chair. This is a $1,000 specialty petite chair. It's ridiculous, like ridiculous foam, ridiculous arms, every adjustment you could ever imagine. So that red chair is $1,000. Look at how tiny it is compared to the Commander. It's pretty funny.
See if I can fit in here.
Oh, Robert, just barely. You got to be
just can't
careful
see
when you
any chair
drop in
anymore.
there.
The chair disappeared.
Okay, can you get a little wider here? Ooh.
Oh, Phil, we do have the neutral posture pillow chair. That is funny. The thing about it is, guys, is a lot of people think that the $2,000 price on that Commander is like outrageous, but we sell $2,000-$3,000 chairs all the time. We have multiple lines where people are spending $2,000 to $3,000 on their chair. The Aero line, the Concept line, the neutral posture line. So there's not a huge market, but there's a market of people that want those high-end chairs. So we have a ton of experience, and that's kind of where the design of that chair came from. We were able to lean into that experience as well. So
Ryan Berry, at $280 on those chairs, you're going to find that they're going to be narrow. The one thing that's really confusing about office chairs is that they have like a lot of them, especially like a steel case, they are like 400 pounds on capacity across the entire lineup. They don't fit 400 pounds. They just do that as like a flex. Like, hey, look, we can put 400 pounds in the chair. They're basically going up against Herman Miller, who said we're going to do 325 or 350 depending on the chair. And then that's how they compete, right? So just because a chair has a weight capacity doesn't necessarily mean it's actually going to fit you comfortably in it. That's why we got those sizing charts. Like the Commander, if you're 280, you're going to fit in that amazingly well. Obviously, it's significantly more expensive, but, to be honest, if you're getting a brand new Leap, you're looking at $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. Really, if you're getting like this one's leather on the seating surfaces and vinyl made to match everywhere else, the warranty's on par with it, is exactly the same. You're within you're probably the same price with that discount right now as a Leap chair, which is kind of crazy, but like they're significantly different in sizing. So if you want to fit comfortably, like that's exactly why that chair was made. Yeah, exactly. That's Phil, right. That's why we put those on there. Big issue sitting upright, 5'10", 190 would be able to recommend for posture. Timothy, if you have issues in the past, those are always tough to kind of solve here on stream, just because if what is the issue sitting upright? Is it neck support? Is it the back support? Is it, tailbone? I mean, it could be a whole host of reasons. So without knowing more of that, it's tough to decide. All right, guys, we got a couple more minutes. If anybody else wants to drop a question, what is going on with the camera on Robert there? Oh, now it's back. He's back.
I had some technical difficulties with that camera this week. I had some very nice laid out instructions. I followed them, and the camera failed me. Didn't record anything I did.
So nothing from the assembly is accurate?
I don't think so. I followed the instructions, hit record, walked over there, did everything, and when I came back, the camera was all black, but it was still on the on position. So I just turned it off and left. Did you get any of the assembly footage that I did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, guys, that is it. All right, don't forget, you got 20% off on all the outlet stuff through Monday, so make sure you guys are grabbing whatever it is that you want to grab. And then when you do make a purchase over the weekend, you can still grab up that merch. So make sure you're putting in your sizes in there. You know how it works, 300 to 500 T-shirt, 500 to 800 is a sweatshirt, and anything over $800 you get the cup, and you get a sweatshirt, or you can replace it with a T-shirt. So there you go. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect, Timothy. Give us a call. We'll help you out. We got a great staff that knows everything about everything when it comes to chairs. So, all right, till next time, guys. We will see you on the next stream. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us. See ya.